Okay, guys, I think we're live. I'm just going to set up the chat on my phone here beside me and just make sure we're live. So bear with me. We'll be with you all in a second. Okay, so and volume down. Okay, so we have the chat up and running. So first off, Scrapman, thanks for coming in. Estonian Scrapper, Gil Skills, I see is in the chat. Rafael Scrapper have popped in. I'll give it another couple of minutes for more people to pop in, and then we'll get this show on the road. So if anyone doesn't already know, Moose Scrapper will do a 30-minute Q&A with me this evening, which I appreciate him taking time up to spend a little time answering questions on e-waste, scrapping. I will talk about a few other little things, maybe YouTube and stuff like that. So I'm hoping he's still down there in the basement. His camera seems to have gone blank at the moment, so I'll just give it a few minutes while we wait for that to be sorted out. So yeah, he's back. I see him down in the basement. So this is a new feature that I've added to my channel on my lives, usually on a Monday, but sometimes I have to, because of work commitments for other people, change it to another day. But it's a feature I hope to add where I'll do a Q&A with people from the e-waste world, scrapping, YouTube. A few other different companies have agreed to come on board and do a Q&A in the e-waste and recycling industry. And I hope to add this as part of my thing going forward. I'll bring up further YouTubers, further scrappers, stuff like that onto it. So to get on with it, I'm going to bring up Moose now, and we'll get into this. And if anyone has any questions, I'm going to put the link out for you to come onto the panel. I'll only let one up at a time, because if there's too many on the panel, it can get confusing. And then when that person has asked their few questions, we can drop you back down and bring someone else up from the basement. So I'll add the link in a few minutes, but we'll bring Moose up first. Moose, welcome.
Howdy.
So can you say something there again? I couldn't hear you.
Oh yeah, how's the?
No, let me check. There we go.
All right.
The joys of technology.
Oh yeah.
Now, first off, I'd like to thank you for giving up your time to come on here for half an hour, which I appreciate. I know you're a busy man between all your facets, between the YouTube and the e-waste and the scrapping and your work. So, first off, I'll put the link in the chat just to get, in case anyone wants to come into the panel at a later stage. We'll put the link, and if anyone wants to come up, then we can get them up, but we won't spend too long. And I'll get into a few questions that I wanted to ask you. Okay, so the link is there if anyone wants to go into the basement, and we can bring you up as a thing. First off, one of the questions I've always, well, first off, you were one of the first channels that I found when I started getting interested in e-waste and scrapping. And I was just wondering, how did you get into the e-waste and the scrapping? What took you on into that?
It's probably 8 or 9 years ago now. I had a desktop computer that died, and I wanted to recycle it, so I brought it to the town recycling center, and they wanted to charge me $10 to dispose of it. And I thought that was a little bit weird that, everything in there is recyclable, and, it just seemed odd. So I brought it back home. I started watching YouTube videos of my own. Like at the time, it was Mike the Scrapper and Jack the Scrapper were pretty popular. And, I took that computer apart myself and just kind of got into it. I just, started seeing all these places where you could find gold, copper, all these other metals that were worth money, and, bring it to a scrapyard and get paid for it instead of having to pay to dispose of it. So that's pretty much how I initially got into it.
Okay, and what made you then do the leap, we'd say, from that into the YouTube world? What made you decide to become a creator on YouTube then?
Well, the more I got into it was a hobby at that time. The more I got into it, the more I was trying to find certain things on YouTube that I just couldn't find. There were certain things that were being broken down, but not in a way that I could really understand and go into the depth that I was looking for. So I figured, what the heck, I'll try a couple of videos of my own. And within the first couple of months, they started getting a bunch of views, and people on there were encouraging me to make more. So I just went with it.
Yeah. Well, like you, as I was saying, you were one of the first when I started getting in. I worked in electronics, selling TVs and stuff like that, and I seen the stuff coming back. And I was thinking there has to be money out of this. It's going off somewhere else. So someone's making money somewhere. Can I get a bit of this? I was thinking to myself. So I didn't have the room to go big into it. So I decided to concentrate on the e-waste, the gold side of it, because again that can be broken down into smaller bits and stored in smaller boxes, stuff like that. So then I started searching who will I find, who does. So as you said, Mike the Scrapper was one of the first I came across, and then there was yourself. Gil Skills, I came across him. I came across E-Waste Bin eventually. He's probably one of the other big YouTubers out there. So it was great to find channels that were into the same thing, and I thought it was brilliant what you were doing at the time, and it was the way you, as you said, you broke it down deeper than some of the channels I found. Just goes, here's the item, and this is what you end up with, but they didn't show how you got there, you know. So that's what I enjoyed about your channel. You broke it down, you done it plain language, so everyone knew what you were doing, and you done it naturally. It wasn't like any fancy editing or any of that carry on. You just showed exactly what happens. So, you know, I'm not one for this fancy editing. I prefer to see what's happening than a buck doing a pow, and here it is, it's in front of you, you know. But so one of the other questions then I was going to ask him is then now, what when you started off first, what did you find good about e-waste, and what frustrated you about it, or not just e-waste, in scrapping in general?
Well, when I first started off, one of the things that was a frustration for me was the space that I had to work with. At the time I was renting, and I literally had a like 3-foot closet in a hallway and a staircase outside in the building that I was renting an apartment in. And in January, that's not a very comfortable place to be, strapping. My knuckles got busted more times than I can count. But the more I got into it, it was like, okay, well, I need to be able to build up more of an amount of this type of material, so it's worth bringing back to the scrapyard or worth sending off to an online refiner. So space was an issue for me at first. My landlord was really great. He gave me a section of a garage bay that he had a whole workbench in the back, and that's really when the video started taking off.
And now that you brought something up there about refiners and sending stuff to refiners, I can't do that here in Ireland because there is no one does it. So that's why I have to actually do it myself. That's why I'm working on my videos now with my gold recovery with the acids and stuff like that. And how do you find it now? Do you have easy access to refiners over there, or are you going to do more of the refining yourself, or are you going to carry on sending it to refiners?
There's definitely no shortage of refiners here in the States. The problems that I've encountered are, they're not always exactly honest or reliable.
Yeah.
There's a lot of refiners that I've sent very large shipments to, like a whole pallet of boards to refine, and I'll get a check back for like $20. And I'm gonna go, wait a minute.
You know yourself from doing it that the stuff there was a lot more value than that.
Right.
So that's the thing. Yeah, and that's why that brings me on to another point there. That's why I find this group that you're in, and I'm actually in this group as well. It's e-waste and precious metal that's on Facebook. I find that a very good group because just there the other day I had an issue with some nitric acid I was working on. I put up a picture of it and I had an answer back on how to solve the problem so quick. I find that this is making it a lot easier for home refiners to do their own work rather than have to send it away, because you've got some really good experts on these groups. And like any group, there can be people on there who will try and scam you if they can get an opportunity. But I find that the e-waste and precious metal group is really well managed, and any of them guys are kicked out before they get to that stage where they can con someone out of a thing. But I find it was very good that people get the advice there. How do you find that group? What do you find it a good group?
I find that an excellent group. There actually was one incident maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Some guy in Canada who was offering to do toll refines, and I thought the little experience that I had with him, he treated me fairly promptly. So I had several videos where I told people, you should try this guy out. And then things went downhill really quick. He was kicked out of that group. And everyone in that group seemed to really like coalesce. They seemed to chip in to help people who were scammed by this guy. And
yeah, that's the thing about that group. It's a good group that way too. They help each other out. Now, there is another group I'm a part of as well, so I'm going to mention it too. It's eGold Recovery and Refinery. I don't know if you remember that group or not, but that's another good group. Again, like that. But there can be people in there that are a bit dodgy, but there's fairly straight people. Now, I see Gil Skills is in the basement. I'll leave him there for a few more minutes, Gil, until I finish my questions before I bring you up. But the few of the other questions I'm going to ask you is. One of the things there is, where do you see your channel heading in the next few years? Is it something that you're going to try and? I know you're aiming for the 100,000 there at one stage. How do you find the growth of the channel since YouTube have changed kind of the way they push channels and stuff?
The growth has been. I'm pretty sure I've peaked. I know there are other scrapping channels like E-Waste Ben. He's got a lot more subscribers than I do. And I mean, I think I've gained maybe 5,000 subscribers or 6,000 subscribers in the last year, which is not great. So it's not really reasonable for me to try and hit the 100,000 subscriber mark, by the end of this year, which is fine. It's scrappers. I mean, the whole the way to survive in the scrapping world, you have to evolve. All right. I started off with just base metals and sending off circuit boards to refiners. Then I grew into refining some of it myself, started to dabble on eBay. And now most of the money that I make on this is selling stuff on eBay. So in order to balance my time versus profit, I'm ending up having to send out more of my stuff to be refined instead of doing it myself. And it's just where this is going. I'm starting to enjoy the whole making ingots using Devil Forge. So I'm trying to evolve this channel into not just the same old, but other things that people can do to make money, to enjoy the hobby. And I guess that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Yeah, that brings me on to, there's actually a person in the chat there is Ralph Morrick. Now he's big into the casting. He likes doing the casting. So he is, you've gone into this casting now of ingots and stuff like that. So how are you finding that for yourself? It's most Mondays I see the video going up. You have your new video on the casting. Last Monday now you just took up a teardown, but it's mostly on a Monday to stick up the casting. So how are you finding that? Getting into that side of it.
It's so fun. I mean, of course, it's not a safe hobby, and there are dangers to it. But I've just been enjoying it so much that instead of the whole 100,000 subscriber giveaway thing, I am planning on giving away a Devil Forge at the end of this year to one subscriber. I'm going to take my last YouTube payment from the year, order it, and send it right to that person's house, because it's so hard to describe the feeling of taking junk and then melting it down into this nice heavy copper ingot and just holding your hand. It's a very strange feeling. It's really, really fun. Yeah,
because it's something that I was thinking about doing at some stage, but at the moment I don't know. It's something the acids are dangerous enough for me without fire. So, without adding fire to it. So it's something I'll probably leave for a while yet. I have a forge made, or it's like a Devil Forge, but I got someone to make it up for me, but I still haven't got the guts to use it yet in case I blow myself up. So let me see what else. I had a few questions wrote down here that I wanted to get through before I bring anyone up. No, I think that's mainly what I wanted to try to find out on you there about the YouTube. So I'm going to bring up Gil Skills here, which you already know Gil pretty well. We'll bring Gil up. Gil?
Oh, hey.
Welcome.
How you guys doing?
Not too bad.
I was just jotting down a few questions.
Well, you can
have your text messages, but I can't answer them because I'm using my phone.
First off, I got to say, seeing you two in a collab live stream like this is absolutely freaking awesome. So I'm loving this. This is great. Moose Scrapper is one of the few YouTubers at the time that inspired me to create my channel. Not trying to stroke your ego. It's the truth. It's the truth. And you know it. I've told you that many times. No, anyway.
What the heck was that?
So thank you for that. And I don't want to be up here too long because I know others will probably want to ask questions. So one of the reasons I was gravitated to your channel is because you have this innate ability to explain what you're doing. I mean, I found scrapping fascinating to begin with, but in your videos, you really do a great job of explaining what you're doing. You're very thorough. You're very empathetic to your viewers. Now, is this something that you've always had, or is this something that you've developed as your channel grew?
I don't know.
Did I stump you?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I've always believed in, the whole KISS thing. Keep it simple, stupid. You just do it. Again, it goes back to why I started making these videos in the first place. The videos that I was looking for online didn't explain things the way that really stuck in my mind. So I guess just my own natural way of explaining what I'm doing. I don't know.
That's a reasonable answer. It comes naturally. For some people it comes naturally. For others, they have to work on it. You know what I mean, to get that right tone. And I guess you hit the ground running with it, which is totally awesome.
Yeah, he could have worked on radio. I think that voice about him.
Yeah. He's got a perfect face for radio. Oh,
I didn't mean it that way.
You knew that was coming. He knew it was coming a mile away. Anyway, all right. Here's my second and last question here. As you developed your skills scrapping, when you first started scrapping and whatnot, I mean, how did you start getting into the more advanced metals? How did you start determining what was zinc versus silver or tin or anything like that?
Oh, lots and lots of research. I mean, it was one of those. I'm one of those people where if something interests me, I'm going to research the heck out of it until I know everything that I feel I need to know about it. So like with those non-magnetic white metals, it can be tricky to figure out what's what. And to this day, sometimes I'll still have some difficulty, determining if it's aluminum or if it's, some kind of like zinc alloy or something. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I just took as much time as I had all the time in the world to really research it and figure out what was in things. Look, if I was taking apart not a hard drive, but like those old disk drives, the 3.5-inch disk drives, that metal in there sometimes is aluminum, sometimes it's not. So I would go online and look up the part and figure out, exactly what it was made of. So,
sweet. Tons and tons of research. All right. Well, that's all I had, guys. So I'm going to hop down so that others can come up. And this is amazing. Thank you for having me on Scrapping Irish.
No problem. And I plan on bringing you up as a guest one of the nights. I'm hoping you'll say yes to that.
I'd be honored, man. You name the date, you name the day, night, whatever. I'll be there.
Yeah, we'll get a date and we'll bring you up and we'll find out what makes your channel tick.
Sounds good.
All right,
thanks, guys.
Cheers to that. So just while we're there on the casting side of things, we're just on which metal do you prefer to cast now? I know you're doing copper and stuff like that. Is copper what you're going to focus on, or in the casting?
Copper is definitely, I have an abundance of it, especially with all of the contracts that I've been getting recently for e-waste. I get a lot of copper heat sinks, a lot of different other copper components. So that's going to be a major metal that I'm going to be working with. Aluminum, I'm going to start that as well, is very abundant. But silver is going to be the next big one. Okay. So I've got right now I've got about a pound of silver that I'm going to melt down and make a nice little ingot out of. Yeah.
Okay, and that you mentioned there now about your just brought up there about your a lot of stuff that you get from other people, contracts you made and contacts. How did you come about that? Was it something you focused on, or was it something that just fell into your lap that people got to know you and just said, will you take this? Do you want this stuff?
It kind of just fell in my lap. I was at a conference, a virtual technology user group conference, and we were all just sitting there after the conference at Gritty's in Freeport, and having a drink and talking. And someone asked, what is that I do? And I said, well, I work in mental health during the daytime, but I'm also an e-waste recycler. And this guy kind of perked up. He's like, really? So how much do you charge? And I told him, I really don't charge anything because I don't feel it's appropriate for me to charge when I'm going to make money off of the metals anyway. And I'm doing this to help the environment as well.
Mm-hmm.
So within a couple of days, we exchanged information, and within a couple of days, I got a call, and he set up a meeting, and I went over to one of their facilities, and they had 6 pallets of server material, 3 huge server towers, and a whole bunch of other things that they're like, okay, well, can you take this? So I've got a rusted out truck. So,
You're right.
I can, just not right now. So I had to hire a moving company, and it cost about $300 to hire the moving company, to have them pick it up there, drop it off in my garage. And instantly I made my money back. They have this one 4x4 box filled with just wire. So I brought that right to the scrapyard, and boom, paid off my movers. So, but since then they're like, well, about every 4 to 6 months, we're going to have a similar load for you. So that alone has been keeping me busy.
Yeah, I can imagine. Because I see, what e-waste bin there, he does scrapping as his full-time job on YouTube. I'd say between them two, that's his. I have a full-time job. You have another job outside of YouTube and outside of the scrapping, but he concentrates. So he's got a lot of contacts and stuff like that. But in the last while, I've noticed myself, I've got 3 or 4 people who repair laptops and stuff like that who have been passing on their stuff to me, which is a good help. It's kind of the more you do it and the more you tell people, it gets out there, and you end up benefiting from it. Do you ever see a time where you think that scrap will take over, or will you be always just have your full-time job and just doing these as a side hustle, as we say?
That's something that I've been thinking about a lot recently. I make a lot more money especially with this new facility that I'm recycling their old technology for. I make more money doing that than I do my regular 9-to-5 job. The problem is health benefits. And also, I had an issue with my back in the past year, and that I wasn't able to do anything with the e-waste while that was going on. So with my other job, it's a desk job, so it's reliable. I know it's always going to be there. E-waste, this could go on for years. It could stop tomorrow. I don't know. So I think I'm probably going to keep it at least part-time where I am, moving forward. E-waste is definitely going to always be there.
Yeah. You mentioned there about your back, and anyone that follows your channel will know for a while there was no videos coming out because your back was shot to bits, and to put it anywhere else. And eventually you got your back sorted out, you had your operation. How frustrating was it that you weren't able to do that work?
I'm the kind of guy that rarely ever asks for help. And I've always been able to do everything myself. Even I was married for 15 years, and I did all the cooking, the shopping, the cleaning. I did everything around the house, worked full time, and then had time for family and hobbies and stuff like that. And now I'm a homeowner. I have to take care of all of this myself. My daughter lives with me full time. I take care of her. Plus, the scrapping, the YouTube channel, the eBay store, all this stuff. So to go from being able to do everything to literally being able to do nothing but lift up a TV remote control, that was the most frustrating several months I've ever had. And even still, I still wake up stiff in the morning, but it kind of works out after a couple of hours. And just that is still, it's incredibly frustrating.
Yeah, because I know myself, if I wasn't able to, go to work or come home and do my e-waste or do my bit of YouTube, if I was in pain constantly, it'd be something that it would be very frustrating to have. It's just what kind of kept you going during that time? Like, a lot of people would get depressed and just stare at the walls. But what did you know that the operation was coming, or what was it like that made you just fight through it? You say keep going.
I was afraid of the operation at first. So the whole thing started around October, but by January, when I was at a point where if I was lucky, getting an hour of sleep a night, not able to really walk more than 10 steps without having to sit down. It got to the point where, like, okay, I need to have the surgery, and it's the best thing I could have done. I mean, as soon as I woke up from anesthesia, I was able to stand up and walk, and so.
Yeah. And you mentioned your eBay store there. How do you find dealing with eBay? Like I kind of was looking at doing eBay stuff, and then I had one of my first experiences was fairly bad. I advertised the item as a broken item, that it was damaged, and I sent it out, and they agreed to pay the fee. And then when they put a claim that, oh, I didn't know I was buying this, that, and all that, and it was just pure hassle. How do you find dealing on eBay?
eBay, they're constantly changing, and I mean, when I first started eBay, it was a very fair field. All right, buyers and sellers had equal rights, they had equal powers. Now it's completely a buyer's market there. They tell you can set your own return policies, but they don't really matter. The only thing that really matters is eBay's core. A buyer can return anything for any reason they want, no matter what. So
yeah. And your eBay store, what kind of stuff do you try and sell on that, or is it something you're looking to expand, or is it something that's just kind of when you have stuff you can't do anything else, but you put it on eBay?
No, eBay is the moneymaker for me.
Okay.
So I put on pretty much anything that works from what I get recycling e-waste. Right now I have these full trays of RAM sticks. They're all 16 gigabyte RAM sticks, so I mean that it's like $650, $700 for a tray. Yeah, there's risk involved. I mean, thankfully I've been pretty lucky. There haven't been people who have taken advantage of the buyer protection stuff with eBay, but
Yeah, I had someone in the basement there, but he disappeared. Ian Matthews, if you're still there, come back into the basement. I'll get you up. I don't know, did the wife plug out his internet or what happened to him? Because I don't know if you're familiar with Ian Matthews, but he has his own YouTube channel, and he spends a lot of time in his shed taking stuff apart, and I think his wife does plug out the plug to get him back in to stop him from staying in the shed too long. One of my other questions, there was something you touched on there about the making more money now from the recycling and that. In Ireland, we can't really make money here unless you're big. You have to be big. You have to have all these regulations. How do you find the regulations on the e-waste or the recycling in the US?
There's no regulations that I know of.
Okay, because over here you can't do any scrap, and really only small stuff like what I do, a bit of that. But if I wanted to do it anyways bigger, I have to have special permits. At the moment, like, I can't even go to a scrapyard, and the scrapyard can't sell me any of the PCs or anything in the back, because once it goes into the scrapyards, it belongs then to a council essentially, and they don't release it back into the public. Where I know, like Raphael Scrapper in Denmark, he can go and buy the stuff off the scrapyard, offer them a bit more money than what they paid for it, and they're happy to sell it out. Is that something you ever done? Did you ever buy from scrapyards or anything like that?
Well, I try. I normally have this policy that I never pay for scrap.
Mm-hmm.
I tried once because there's not that many scrapyards around me. There's only 2 right now, and one of them had like these huge boxes of RAM and CPUs, ceramic CPUs that they didn't really know what they were doing with, and they weren't really paying a whole heck of a lot to people who were bringing it in. So I tried multiple times to see if I could buy it off them, but they refused. As far as buying anything else, I don't think that the scrapyard allows that.
Okay.
And as far as regulations, the only thing that really you have to do down here is provide photo ID for every drop off. That's pretty much it.
Okay, and the YouTube side of it, how do you find the time to do? I find it with a full-time job and doing my scrapping, trying to make sure I get a video out every week for people. I find that very hard. How do you find to make time for it?
It's very hard. I mean, when I first started, I'd say 90% of my videos were done late at night, between 11 o'clock at night and 2 in the morning.
Okay.
Now I try and set aside a few hours on Saturday and Sunday mornings to do some stuff, and I'll often try to film multiple videos at once, and then just edit them as I have time afterwards.
That's what I've done at the moment with the refine. I've 10 videos at the moment going, 10 different refines, different stuff, and then I shoot all the shots on the camera, and now I have to try and sort all them clips out and make them into 10 different videos, and there's about, I think it's 120 clips I have there shot now at the moment. So that's the way I've kind of done it now, is I try and spend a day, like you say, on my day off work or a Sunday, I'll go to the shed or go outside, and I'll have my gold in acarija, I'll have my pins in nitric, I'll have my RAM chips in the AP, and I'll be filming 10 different videos and maybe doing a scrap out video and try and get them all up. When you put up your video, and I know you don't have this issue a lot, but negative comments from people, how do you deal with them?
Oh, I get plenty of those.
That's why I said
it. Man, it's I just find it comical how many people will make these negative comments about what I'm doing when fundamentally I'm taking something that was going to go to landfill, all right, taking it out, breaking it down, and then having all of it recycled.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time, 100% of what I have is recycled, but that's just not good enough.
Yeah, no. People, I get a lot of people saying, "Oh, that cost you more than on acid than what you get out." But on my channel, it's about showing how you can do it, and it's not my full-time income. It's more the fact I can do it, that I love doing it, that I can actually get this material and get this bit of gold at the end of it. And it's just people. Some people, if you're not happy with a channel, you don't have to subscribe, or you don't have to stay there. You can move on to billions of channels up there. So
or
I'm going to bring up
to post their own video showing me how to do it better.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to bring up another man that's in the basement. This is Rapid Ralph, which is Ralph Morick, who does the casting. So we'll bring him up. Now, Ralph,
Hello.
Have you any questions for the
Not
moose?
really a question, actually. I was trying to think of a question since I heard that you were going to have Moose on. I just want to say, love your work, and I've been following you for about 2 years now. And I was really glad to finally see you start getting into casting. You said about something about selling on eBay being very tedious and not really friendly for the seller, more for the buyer. Have you ever considered selling stuff on Etsy? Are you familiar with Etsy?
Yeah, I'm not that familiar with Etsy.
Well, I started melting down a lot of pewter, like this old gray stuff, which nobody wants, and casting tiny little figures and stuff like this. I mean, just simple stuff, and you can get like graphite. This I do in silicon molds because that works for pewter. But if you do stuff in copper or brass, and you get like little graphite molds, going by the weight you put into it, instead of making one big ingot and you make some little figures. It's nice to have stuff for giveaways, but it also sells really well on Etsy, apparently. I mean, something like this, which costs next to nothing, you can maybe sell for like $9.95 or so, and if it's copper, maybe even more, and people will pay for it. So it's quite an interesting platform, especially for handmade stuff. That's basically what the site is for.
Well, just actually, when you brought that on about selling stuff, did you ever think of doing what E-Waste Bin does and sell his ingots online with them stand for the moose on them?
Yeah, that's what I kind of meant. The stuff that
Yeah.
you will be making with the forge.
Well, I pretty much just started making the ingots. So the ones that I've made so far, I'm maybe a little attached to.
Yeah, I know.
Do definitely in the future.
I have a whole stack of stuff. I started watching Big Stack D, kind of probably like you did, and saw his shelves. I think next to his bed. thing.
I'm just going to check something there, guys, because we have a bit of noise coming from somewhere, and I'm going
Oh, is
to
that
see.
from you?
I'm just going to see which one of it is. No, it's not me. Let me go to the next person. No, and it's actually it was on Moose there, whoever it was.
Yeah, I think your microphone might be slightly glitchy.
Oh, I hope we didn't lose him.
That is a lot better. Oh no, there it is again.
It's there again. Whatever it is, it's like a little crackling sound.
Sorry.
Doesn't bother me that much.
No, but it's gone now. It's gone. It's back again. It's just one of them things that happens. But before you go, Bruce, as I said, I promised I wouldn't keep it too long. Is there anything that's that you want to say yourself? I'm going to drop you back down for a minute, Raphael, because Ralph, because I think Raphael
that keeps happening, Raphael.
There's actually another person wants to ask you something, I think, so I'm just going to bring them up.
Oh, that's happened so fast. Wow.
Now,
Didn't expect
Raphael,
that.
you have something to ask the Moose.
Of course I do. I'm not sure if the moose remember my name so far. But anyway, the question for you, Moose Buddy. How many times did you think to totally quit the YouTube? We are aware you're working hard at the beginning, then you got few breaks because of it's happened what happened, and you need to take a break from the YouTube. But how many times do you really think about quitting it, like totally?
I don't know, can you hear us?
The crack is so bad I can barely hear.
What he was asking is, did you ever think about quitting YouTube?
YouTube? No. I mean, a brief period of time there when I was going through a lot of transitions, like right after I got divorced and bought this house. YouTube just wasn't really on my radar for a while, but I never really thought of quitting it.
Yeah. It's something I like doing. I find it's a good way of relaxing. I find it a very, very good way of doing things. It can be frustrating, but it can also be very rewarding.
Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, there's one more question. How are you thinking about the YouTube to make your life fun? Is that the way maybe one day you will gonna get, or that is no chance for you, buddy?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
He wants to know, do you think you'll make a living from YouTube eventually, or is it just something that you don't think will ever happen?
The first year or two that I was doing this, I had thoughts that I can make a living doing this, but they've changed policies so many times, and the pay from them has really shrunk. So I don't see, especially with the growth or the lack of growth, I should say, that my channel has had. I don't see it becoming like a full-time job. Just something fun to do on the side.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point about how often they change their policies and things about that. So There was one more question. Okay, I lose it. I lose it now.
Well, it's gone past my half an hour that I promised that I'd keep Moose on. So unless Moose wants something to say himself, I can let him go if he's busy. I don't think he can hear me.
Oh, cool.
Hello?
Yeah, I kind of heard that.
Yeah, I was saying that I promised I wouldn't keep you too long because I know you're a busy person and you have a lot of videos to edit and to get it. We want to see your Monday video tomorrow. I'm sure you have one coming out.
Right.
So, have you anything you want to add before you go, or anything you want to say to the people that's in the chat?
I just want to thank you for having me on. Thank you, folks out there who watch the stuff that I put out there. I'm glad you find it entertaining or educational. And just want to reemphasize that I am going to be continuing to do the scrapping videos as well as the Monday meltdown videos. And I hope that you choose to keep watching and subscribe. And by the end of this year, someone's going to have their own brain forge.
Yeah, Shark Scrapper, I think you're familiar with from Florida. He just wants to say thanks for the shout out to you. Did you give me a shout out a while back? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop your link in the chat. I'm sure everyone already knows you, but in case they don't, this is Moose's channel. If anyone wants to go over and subscribe, Moose is one of the, I think he's only one of the 5 or 6 scrappers
Oh, I'm back on.
that have more than 20,000 people on them, following them. So he's one of the bigger scrapper channels in the niche. So, yeah. So,
Good for you.
I'd like to thank you for coming up, and it was very gracious of you to give your time. I really appreciate it. As I say, you're one of the first channels that I started following, and your stuff I found very helpful in learning, and the advice you give on people is brilliant. You've always been helpful to anyone in the YouTube that asks you any question. You've always been straight and honest with them. So I'd like to thank you for that. I think
I'm sorry.
Oh.
And he's gone.
Oh. He's back. Oh, he's back. He's back.
My
dropped out for a second.
It's just cracking everything.
It's okay. So I'm going to say goodbye to you, and thank you for your time. And I'll let you get on with your day.
Yeah, that was great time.
And he's gone.
See ya.
Shame about the bad connection.
So yeah, that's technology for you guys. But it was great that he gave us time up. As we all know, Moose is probably one of the channels we've all followed at the beginning, and it was great to have him up. I was going to say, this is something I hope to do more often. Like next week, I'm having a guy called Ron who works for a company in Florida that deal with tantalums, and he's going to come on and talk about the company, how they recycle them and what they do with them and stuff like that, because tantalums is one of the things I can't recycle, and it's one of the things a lot of e-waste people have thrown around that they don't know what to do with.
That sounds great, buddy. Do you think he will share a tiny hint with us?
I don't know. When we get him under the spotlight, we'll put the pressure on him. So we'll put the pressure on. You know, so he's actually from Florida, so Shark Scrapper might be not too far. We can get Shark to do some spying. He can go up and check out the place and tell us how we can
just show the teeth
the waters
in front of him, so he will for sure share something with us.
Yeah, well, mention Shark and up he comes.
Hello, Shark.
See how calm the guy is, but I bet when we send him out to the guy, he will show his teeth.
Welcome, Shark. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. How about y'all?
Yeah, so as I don't know, did you catch that? But next week for the first half hour of the show, I'm having a guy from Florida who runs a company that recycles tantalums, and he's going to come on and talk about tantalums because it's something that I'm interested in, because like everyone in the scrap world, we collect these tantalums and we don't know what to do with them because I don't know how to recycle them. but in Florida or in America, you can send them to this guy. He'll buy them off you, but we might be able to get information off him that might be able to help us all.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting. I'm looking forward to chatting with him. I had hoped to get here sooner, but the day didn't play out the way I thought it was going to, and I ended up getting here just as Moose was signing off. That was unfortunate. I really wanted to say thanks to him. I squeezed it in right at the end before he signed off.
Because I, as I promised, I know Moose was busy, and I promised him I'd only keep him a half an hour because it was a last minute thing because I had something else planned for this Monday, someone else planned for this Monday, and they couldn't do it. So then I just emailed Moose and asked him would he come up, and he said, well, I can't do Monday, I can do Sunday. So I said, that'll do, we'll push the show to Sunday, because he's one of the guys I wanted to talk to who, as we all say, he was one of the originals who started the e-waste YouTube channels.
It's all totally understandable. We all got like timelines, and I was hoping I will catch the whole things, but as far you start, then I just begin to dinner time come out, and I was really hungry. So when I come back, I quickly jump in and do as much as I can. But you cannot hit the everyone time window, right?
Yeah, well, I hope to do this with everyone. I hope to bring you up, Ralph, for half an hour on your own, and we'll just have questions for you. And same with Raphael, and the same with Shark, and I'll do it with Gil Skills, and I'll do it with Recycle Dude, or as he's called, the Dude now. Maybe Estonian Scrapper if he wants to come up. I've made contact as well with Board Sort to get hopefully one of their representatives up, and we can chat to them about what they do. And maybe someone in the that people can suggest to me that I can bring them up and do a 30-minute question and answer and bring people up onto the panel. It's just something I want to do different on the channel. That I do that first at the first half hour, and then we can just do our own messing about then.
Yeah, you know what? I don't mind at all. I will be happy to join the fun, and that sounds like funny half hour to.
Yeah, well, it's just where you get asked a few questions, and people from the panel get to know people who are on YouTube. It won't be just all scrappers. I'll bring up some other YouTubers who might be interested in coming up and asking them how they got into YouTube and what their channel's about and stuff like that. It's just for half an hour, and then we just go back to our normal messing about.
As far you find enough people to questioning me for half hour, that will be your success.
We can ask you about your cooking. We can ask you about the small shovel. We can ask you about recycling.
I was actually kind of a tiny bit starstruck because being on panel with Moose, I'm a famous person.
It was like that was me when I got up onto Gil Skills panel. The very first time I was on Gil Skills panel, I was like, "Oh, Gil Skills, this is a guy."
I had that when the first time on Gil Skills as well, I guess.
Yeah, but it's good. It's good that these people, the likes of Moose, who has 50,000 or whatever he has subscribers, will still come on to a channel which has, I don't know what I have at the moment, 1,300 and something subscribers.
Yeah, you're about the same as me.
Yeah, they still make time for people who are following, watching their stuff. They still give their time, and I'm sure if there wasn't such a time difference, I'd try and get E-Waste Bin up. But the problem with E-Waste Bin is he's in Australia, so I'd have to put the show on at 4:00 in the morning.
Well, like I said, you could try to record the meeting, and you can probably make it even longer and edit out some stuff and turn it into a video.
Yeah,
you're totally right, Ralph. But in this case, you're missing the live question from the
You're missing the chat.
The chat, the chat is the thing that some people in the chat would want to maybe ask a few questions and stuff like that, and it's something that. Again, I like to bring people up onto the panel and ask a question of them as well. So it's just something. Watchcall's asking me there, could I get someone from iScrap app? I will try and make contact with them and see if I can get them. I actually talked to them about releasing something for Europe and Ireland and the UK, but the last thing they said was they had no plans at the time, but we'll see. I'll try and make contact again with them and see, can we maybe get someone from them to come up and talk?
Guys, I will definitely see the Shark Scrapper at the screen with the Q&A. I think he's so huge star, and I never can get the word with him. That will be great.
I think he's trying to pull the Mickey out of you. So he is. Ian Matthews was in the basement in the middle of that, and then he just
I think
disappeared.
he misclicked because he actually wanted to come up on panel at Dusty. Because the moment you said that he was in the basement, he was actually on Dusty's panel like 2 seconds after. I think.
Well, that must be it. He made a mistake coming into my panel.
Clicked on the wrong link, probably.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
I was at Dusty
I
as well
didn't
today.
want him to think I was ignoring him because I was talking to Moose at the time and I seen him in the basement, and I didn't want to. I wanted to get the answer off Moose before I brought him up, and then he had disappeared.
Yeah.
Well, and you know what? I'm sorry that he left because I actually wore a different shirt just to prove to him that I have something other than an orange shirt, and I'm not in the prison release program.
But so I hope everyone in the chat enjoyed Moose up there.
Yeah, it's cool to see.
It was good to see. So, what's everyone been up to today while we're all up here? What have you been up to, Shark?
So a very busy day of editing the final version or the final episode of the 54 computer auction win.
We know if you made money or lost money on this one.
You're going to have to wait till you see the video.
Smile on your face tells me you made money.
Look at the smile. Yeah, he made good amount. Definitely.
But it turned out to be a pretty complicated edit, and it was funny because I was heads down in cleaning up a few things, and then I looked up at the clock and I went, "Oh my God, I'm missing Moose."
It's white chocolate and crisp. Scrapman 50.
Yeah, Watchballs. Yeah, you're eating Legos. You want to. So, Scrap and Ralph, I was watching last night. You were on Gill Skills there, melting the stuff down. You managed not to set fire to the flat, anyhow.
Well.
So, what have you been at today?
I helped a friend return a broken fitness device, which was quite used, and we actually got it exchanged for a new one. It was the showroom model because they didn't have any stock, but they just replaced it. So I had to log that thing back to her apartment.
Oh, her. Is she single? Ralph?
No.
Oh.
No.
So, Raphael, what were you at for today?
Today I was at the beach hunt, and whether I have huge plan to meet one spot with the nice tiny bridge going into the sea, and I was gonna search around it, but I wear my voders, those big boots what start from your feet and go all the way up to here.
Oh, you're waders.
Waders.
Yeah.
Believe me or not, that was the first time in my life when I wear that things. And I, first of all, at the midday, I just gonna try them on. And from at the time when I try them on, I think, you know what, it's not worth to take them down. It's too much work to wear it. So I walk about 2 or 3 hours through the home with that thingy, and later on jump into the car and just drove.
Oh, gee, no, that'll be torture.
Anyway, I cannot reach the beach because it was all private property and so on. So I search and drive around. Anyway, I end up at the beach and find some cool stuff. Yeah, cool stuff. Few coins. No, I have my fun, and the rain just take me out.
Yeah, the weather here today was actually all right, so I was able to get out and do more of my acid work. So I've got a lot of that done today. So I've actually jars now with nice goldy color liquid in them.
Sweet.
So I'll be doing a drop on them in a few days' time. I'm just waiting for some stuff to come. I'll just answer Shark's question there. He's saying about getting Gil up on the panel. Yes, Gil has already agreed to come up. So we're just going to have to sort a day, and we'll get Gil up on one of the panels as well. He's agreed to come up and do a half-an-hour Q&A. So if anyone has any questions for him, they'll we can put them to Gil, and see what makes Gil tick.
That'll be awesome. I'm looking forward to that. I remember a live stream that Gills and Moose and the dude did, and the three of them were drinking at the same time that they were doing the live stream, and it was just freaking hilarious. Gills, I don't know if you remember that. I see you in
I remember watching
you in the chat there.
Yeah, it was on late at night for me, so it was hard for me to catch them all the time.
Yeah,
I think I've seen part of that. It was some
you
time
stay up
ago.
all night, Ralph, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's night or day for you. You just stay up.
Yeah, back then, I did probably, yeah.
It was just hilarious. You're right. It was a while back, 2 years ago, maybe 3 now. I don't remember.
If it was 3 years ago, then I haven't seen it.
Yeah, no, they used to be on late. Himself and Moose used to come on, and I'd try and I'd see some of it. I might catch it, and then another day I might just watch the replay, you know. But it used to be good. What else I was going to say there? But so any videos coming out this week, guys? Well, we know Shark Scrapper has his one going to be coming out.
Yeah, that's for sure.
What about you, Raphael? Have we a video to look forward to on Tuesday?
Of course I do. I got one already uploaded, but that's gonna be just cooking vids.
Okay.
It's gonna be a little bit funny, a little bit cooking, and yeah. Anyway, we'll see what's come out. I do have few other vids ready to post out, but I'm not sure. I got this cooking video ready to go, so that's for sure gonna come out. If I finish up some others, then who knows? Maybe some IC Crusher.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that IC Crusher videos. So I am.
You know what? I'm so overwhelmed with other thingy right now when the weather is like good, when I can just come out. I can go after the shroomies. I can go after the metal detecting. I can go after just hiking in the woods. So, you know, every time when I went there, I take my camera with me, and as I feel like, I just start it on and just make some videos. And yeah, so everything, it's, you know.
Yeah, your show was good last night. I enjoyed your show last night. It was good 4 hours and what was it?
4.5. 4.5, I think it was. Yeah.
Really, it was half hour longer than usual. Yeah, I do have fun. Otherwise, I will not keep it so long, because my plan was to keep it like 2 hours, like usual. You know, 1 hour scrapping, 1 hour chatting, and that's it. That's it. But at the most cases, it end up at least 4 hours. So
yeah.
So
my next video, that will be next week, because I just uploaded a mail call video. Will be next week, and will be about this bar.
Hold on.
And Scrap It Man 50. This is not a copper bar.
It's look more than brassy than copper or
no,
paint.
it's not. It's not brass. Let me show you. This is copper.
Yeah.
Hold on, the Twinkie, copper Twinkie. Slightly similar, but the copper slightly more reddish. This is brass. More yellowish.
Okay, so that means it's bronze in this case.
Exactly. This is bronze. This is tin bronze. No, it's not aluminium bronze. That would also be more yellow. This is tin bronze. This is my first bronze bar that I made. 88% copper, 12% tin, which is a very common percentage for bronze, actually. I will be. The video is a short video where I made this, and I will be using this to try to make a small statue thingy, small figure out of bronze.
You know, Ralph, why the bronze and brass is so popular in these days?
I have no idea. Well, brass is what's the there's a term for this. I think tensile strength. The brass is very strong and very useful for many things. Bronze is not so much useful, but it's used in art a lot.
It is all about the density when they touch other metals and they move on each other. Brass will never make any sound of it if you got, like, for example, iron hinge in your door, it will always make like
Yeah,
If
the
you put
vibration.
tiny brass washer on it, it will get totally quiet.
Yeah.
We welcome Ian Matthews. Ian, we're down in the basement, and
Hey, slow down, sir.
I'm going in the basement.
You were in my basement for a while, and you disappeared.
Well, you ignored me, and I thought,
I put in the chat. I can see you there, Ian. And I think you were gone.
Well, just to answer that, you know, Dusty's live.
I know. He told me. I already knew. Ralph told me you were over on Dusty's.
Right. Well,
he ratted you out.
Well, it's not
I actually pulled an Ian Matthews when I was on there because they had Ian.
I'd got a parcel from them.
Yes.
So it only further. While you was busy having that question and answers, I'll pop over and open what I had, which turned out to be a nice bottle of Ben Bracken.
Yeah.
So I thought he's.
I'm only rising you.
Courteous. I know. Can I offer Rafael an apology first of all? We won't go into it, but I apologise.
No, no need to say anything. Let's just move on.
Yep.
Exactly. I have no idea, and let's keep it that way.
Drink to
that. So Ian, I'm glad you came back because I wore this shirt specifically so you could see that I'm not in a jail cell and I'm not on work release, and I actually have something other than an orange T-shirt.
Yeah, but it could be dressed down Sundays. They don't get a lot of things in prison, you know, so they might just say on Sundays you can wear a different colour. As far as I'm concerned, you're still in a white cell.
You know, I got to figure out. I want to put some sort of board behind me or something like that.
Board,
with stickers on it. So
you could put a green board behind you, and then you could put anything you want up using the StreamYards, I think.
Oh, that could be fun.
Pop out chat and see who's in.
Yeah. Well, there's people saying hello to you.
It's not hard to smuggle a Hawaiian shirt into
Dewdrops. Aye. Shirt scrapper. Aye. Scrapman. Pooh's mate's in. Hello, Pooh's mate. Scotty in. Hello, Scotty.
So they became part of my channel. Pooh's mate did. I appreciate them coming on. I seen the new subscriber, so it was good.
Pooh, I've known Pooh since the day I started on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I've known
Pooh for quite some time already, and never got problem with her. She's always nice, always polite and so on. Great person. Great to have in the chat.
So Ian, will you agree to come up and do a 30-minute question and answer with me sometime?
Yes, providing that some of the questions don't incriminate me.
Okay, we'll do it when you have no drink on you.
Yeah, of course I will. Yeah, I would. Yeah.
It's just something I want to do that people can get to know a bit more about the channels they're watching. You know, so it's something I'd like to do, and as I say, I want to get all these guys up. And again, I do it the same way, just a half an hour, bring one person up at a time to ask a few questions, drop them back down the basement, bring someone else up, and if someone doesn't want to answer the question, they don't have to answer any question I ask them. It's not a law that they have to answer. They can just say, I'd rather not talk about that.
That's going to be boring then. No comment. No comment.
No comment. Plead the fifth.
No comment. No comment.
Plead the fifth.
Unless you say, did it hurt when you landed on the top of them steps?
Yeah. I'm sure that loads of subscribers will have loads of questions for you, Ian, because you've been on it a long time, and you've built your numbers up nicely in the last few years. So it's something that you're doing right, and people will want to know how to do it probably.
Yeah,
don't answer any questions because I have no questions for you then.
All right, okay. Well, I was going to answer that, but it amazes me as well. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Well, we'll do a Q&A with you some night, and we'll get to the bottom of it. Next week, as I said, I have a company on from Florida to talk about tantalum capacitors.
Oh,
So, and then we're going to get Shark to go and spy on them and find out how they recycle them.
listen. I've had it. I can't show you an email. Can I show you emails?
Hold on a second, and I'll just see what he's putting up.
Tantalum black, tantalum yellow, tantalum miscellaneous.
Yes.
Yeah, but he's got a lot more. I didn't know there was so many tantalums until he sent me 20 different pictures of different type tantalums they buy that I never even knew was a tantalum.
There are plenty of them.
Oh, Bill,
Even
Bill, I can't answer that question.
Alu caps, alu capacitors.
Listen, it's Irish.
Yes.
I know you. Go look at one of my videos. I think it says black box and gold. I think it said. And there's a guy commented on there tonight who said, "What do you do with your e-waste?" Oh, I think it's just said, "Can I buy your e-waste gold?" Is what he said.
Oh.
And I went. So I sent him the link of what I actually do with my e-waste, which is stick it in next door neighbour's shed.
Oh, well, that next door neighbour's shed. I'm getting there now. We're getting where the shed is.
But you don't know whether it's that way or that way.
Doesn't matter. Raphael, go to one.
Irish, one step closer, buddy. One step closer.
Raphael, get them tickets booked.
And he replied back saying, yeah, watch the video. He went, yeah, I buy all that stuff. I said, well, just email me then. And then I think what I'm going to do then, I'm going to go through it, check out all the gold bearing stuff and send it to you two.
What I was going to say to you is, you let us know when he's coming, and when you get the money, we just grab the stuff. So if you get the money, we get
That's just wrong, Irish.
It's a cruel world out there, Shark.
You should know already. Irish people, from dealing with us, we when we went to America, we knew how to get the dollar.
It's dog eat dog.
We knew how to get them dollars.
When I do actually watch Irish's videos on how to, strip it, but it goes like, I really can't do this, but he'll go, here's an MCLC, here's an LMLC, here's an and there's a tantalum, and I'm like, yes, he's keeping this secret to himself. Hidden knowledge.
Well, you see, most of the people in the e-waste world know what the MLCCs are.
The only thing that I figured out is gold cornered chips.
Ian,
BGA.
buddy, as we, at every show, we just show up one tiny PCB, and we're gonna go like, this is this, and it's responsible for this and that, and it's made of this and that, and it got silver, and this can have gold, and this. We does that like as we begin our shows and so on. So right now, when we get like PCBs or circuitry, we go like, listen up, boom. Alu caps, gold plating, copper, silver, tantalum, platinum, and so on. Other side, wow, gold plating all over the place.
I love how you put that one up just to get me salivating by putting that gold one up.
You've got a long-term friend of mine that's just joined in the chat. Monty or my
family garden. I was checking out him last night. He was live as well for a while. I popped in to say hi.
Yeah, as did I. And he was burning a bit worried about these Yorkshiremen. He was burning some bones in his back garden. I think some kind of blue voodoo black magic, that kind of thing. So you got to take these chicken bones and you got to burn them. He says, and then your garden will grow. Black magic, telling you.
But I have a question for Raphael there, though, because when he was pointing at that board, he was pointing at something and calling it platinum.
Oh yes.
Yeah, if I heard that right. I didn't know what platinum is.
Have you heard of Chinese
platinum?
Oh, platinum. Okay.
Continuum.
If you're on Scrap Chat, they have a new word for aluminium or aluminium.
Aluminium.
Anium, Aamium. So it's now called Ali the Minion.
Yeah, I thought that was very funny. So
That was hilarious.
it is. But well, so Ian, did you see what happened? My other comment I put in your video.
It disappeared. Never saw it.
Yeah, I put one up, and I put up. I said I was waiting for that capacitor to put you on your ass.
No, I think I cut the bit out where I'm sticking wires in it to short
Yeah,
it.
I was here thinking, is he going to touch you were looking like you were going to touch the screwdriver off both to short them out, and I said he's going to end up on his hole now in a minute.
I was so hoping that we were going to see a nice spark, and just to see how Ian would react to that. I
want to tell you, it went quite well actually. You
liked my comment that I left on Snobbies about if that was Ian folding them sheets, his fingers would be missing now. I've seen them sharp sheets and I've seen him folding. I was thinking, he's no gloves on. Jesus, he'd have his finger. And I think, oh, hold on a minute, it's not Ian. If it was Ian, his fingers would be cut off.
How did he fold up that brass after he cut it the way he did without cutting his finger?
Well, that's what
I don't understand that.
I no gloves on him either, and I said,
it's easy. He's not Ian Matthews.
That would be some kind of doubler or something.
But yeah, no, the videos were coming. I was watching a good few videos today. I watched your one before I went to sleep last night, Ian, and it didn't even put me to sleep.
And by the way, Ian, last night you went to bed quite late.
Oh yes,
even after I finished my show, and you were almost all the way to the end. Then you stay like 2 or 3 hours more to finish out your video.
Oh, I was because the PC crashed halfway through your stream. I thought, oh, no problem. It booted back up, and it usually says, "Would you like me to restore?" We shut down without shutting down. Would you like me to restore your project? I click yes, but it only restored half of it, so I had to start rebuilding the old video again. And so it did appear a little bit rough after a certain time. I couldn't be bothered with doing it. I was a little bit too tipsy anyway. And you
said you basically don't put any editing at your videos, buddy.
Were you about to say you edit your video?
Sorry?
Were you about to say you edit your video?
Yes, with Windows Movie Maker.
That was out in what year did they stop making that?
I don't know. It's on the computer and it's free. That's what I use.
Yeah, well, I hope you never lose it, because I tried getting that a couple of years ago and it was no longer available.
It's free now with Windows 10, but they hide it in your photo editor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I used to always use that one, and I used to find it very good. And then I changed my laptop, and then I went to download, and it goes no longer available.
No, but it's free inside Windows 10 picture editor.
Okay.
There's the movie makers there. But I tell you what, I was watching Snobby's video this morning. I was well impressed how he's now doing his editing.
He is really good at the editing.
Yeah, the intro, picking up different scrap, the bits he's putting it inside as he's filming it. I like that.
And another man that is very good at his editing too is not too far away from you, Ian, there on the old panel. He may be the other side of you. The other side, that one, yes. I like his voiceovers on it and stuff like that. He does that really good.
Well,
thank you.
Oh,
yeah.
You've got videos.
You should check them out sometime.
I will. What's your channel called?
Let's see. Wait a minute.
I'm in prison and they allow me to scrap.
Shark Scrapper.
My channel's called Ian in the Shed.
I think myself and Shark Scrapper and Raphael Scrapper are the only ones there on the panel that actually use our proper channel name. You don't use your channel, and I don't think Ralph is yours one called Scrap It Ralph? No.
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 Same like Ian's.
What yours is?
Only
Yeah,
and Sharky, we are using the same name, but only because I'm using that name is because I don't need to type it in. It's already on the window.
That's how lazy we are.
Well, and I can't use my real name because I'm in the witness protection program. So,
you know,
I'm same as Rafael there. When you come on StreamYards, whatever you used last time is written in, and it's just as easy to hit the button and join.
Yeah.
You know?
Something in that tiny window.
Anyway, I'm going incognito from now on.
Yeah, I done a Neil Matthews last night on Gil's Guild, so I did. he made someone scream big, and I disappeared. and Ralph ratted me out on what I had done. Everyone goes, "Oh, did Scrapping Irish just drop off?" And he goes, "Oh no, he done a Neil Matthews."
Yeah, make somebody else bigger. Poof, gone.
Gone, yeah. Disappear like a shot. But are you working tomorrow, Ian? Yeah,
I am at work tomorrow, so
are you back full time now? Is everyone back to work? Or?
I've never stopped going.
Yeah, I was the same. I kept working through it, but there was only a few was working, but we're all back now.
Yeah, we're not. We brought a couple back. We brought a fork truck driver back. A guy who works in the moulding plant brought him back. A labourer back. The majority are still furloughed till the 26th of June. It won't be reviewed.
so you don't get to have as much fun driving the equipment around the yard anymore.
I do. I get more fun doing it because there's nobody else to do it. So yeah. During the week, I nearly give me somebody a phone when I was loading an Arctic with pallets, and I was hey, just a little shot of this of me working.
I would say a hard week ahead of me because there is only like 2 of my hands and 4 extra hands to help me out with all the thingy, and my phone is loaded with the message of what has to be done. So yeah. But I can
50 is telling us how in America they pronounce it.
Yeah, we just call it. Ali.
Yeah,
he calls it Alu. We just call it Ali.
Ali, yeah.
Yeah. Question: I know you're into electronics and you know things.
Mm-hmm.
When I fixed that mower, and it was a 16 microfarad capacitor, and I stuck a 20 microfarad capacitor in it. I mean, it worked. Long term, is that wrong? Will it cause issues or not?
Well, is it more farad than the
Yes.
one that was in it? There's no problem.
As far you got like bigger capacitor.
It just sends you further back when you grab hold of it, Ian.
Bit load in it.
Yeah, when you touch it, it just sends you further back.
Will still work, though. As you got bigger load at the capacitor, the phases, because the capacitor is out there because this is 3 phases engine. What you're running on 1 phase, and the capacitor work as a moving thing to the other 2 phases, so they are not at the same time.
I don't think it's that. I think on a single phase motor, I think the capacitor is to allow it to get over the initial inertia.
No, Ian. No.
I don't know. I don't know how things work.
That's why
I take things to pieces.
You feed
More
one
home setting, by the way. More
from
home settings come in.
the net, and second 2 phases was fed through the capacitor. And as far he's charged up and release the load, it's moved by the time what's feed from the network.
Right. Okay. All right. That will then give you your moving magnetism field. Right.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly. And it can only aware to the engine. It could turn a little bit faster or a little bit slower. It's all depend of the how it was designed.
Okay. I mean, what I was going to do was get those four microfarads and get 4 of them and put them in series. But I
I don't think there's enough space to put
Yeah,
four.
where are we going to put them outside of it? Was it? We're going to hold the battery pack.
So, Rafael, if he didn't put a capacitor that had that was lower than the one he took out, the effect would be the motor wouldn't run as fast.
That could affect the speed of the engine, but it's not. It's only because those phase, like we got one phase, it's running like one sinusoidal in the timeline.
Yeah.
When you got two of them, so we got one here and one exactly in the center of it, starting. When this one all the way at the top, the first phase is all the way at the top. The second one starting in the middle of it and going up, while the second one falling down. And the third one, then you got like three sinusoidal readings at the screen. If you move one of them in one or other direction, then magnetic field will interfere with the speed of the motor, because when they are aligned, one going all the way to the top, second one starting, this one falling down, starting, this one falling down. This is the phases where your engine magnetism turn the engine further around.
Yeah, I understand.
And if you interfere those thingy, then first one will push the engine forward, and the second one start not in the middle of the when the second one falling down, it's gonna actually act like brake for the engine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in this case, engine gonna get overheated, and at a certain point get just burn out.
Ian, that could be a fun experiment for you. Take one of those smaller caps and put it in there and see what the effect is. You've got the larger cap, put in a smaller cap, see if there's a noticeable difference in the speed, or if it blows up in the shed or something.
I think you're trying to get poor Eileen killed.
No,
That's how they make this at the newest machine. When you got for example, newest developed circular saw, that's how they find out how to fastest slow down the blade. They actually call it like brake at the blades when you just release the button, and the self blade stop immediately. That's the same way of how they working on that.
Rafael, what did you do before you went into construction? Were you in electronics or? Oh no! Don't answer that. Hold on! Don't answer that. I'll save that for a question when I be up on the panel. That's one of the questions I'll be asking.
Hold that thought.
No asking questions.
Yeah, there's no questions being asked here. They're saved for future. Question. Hold on. Where's my notepad? I'll have to write that one down. So I will. But no, you know a lot about electronics and the motors and stuff like that. So I have a funny feeling you came from that industry originally.
Yep, that's correct.
We'll talk about that in the future.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
I'm just building up all my little questions now. Ian, I'm going to have to do research on you. You're going to be more harder nut to crack.
Why? I wear my heart on my sleeve. If you go,
you're longer on the road, so I say you've had a few careers.
Ask me on your show.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to asking Shark, especially with his from his military time and stuff like that. I'm looking forward to his, and Ralph with his industries as well. He's done a few jobs and he's only young.
To answer your question, I've only had really 4 jobs over my life, but I did spend in between one career and another career. I joined a works agency where they sent you everywhere temporary.
Temporary jobs.
So I did that for 6 months, and in that period, I did probably I don't know 25 different jobs.
Oh well, we'll have to find that out when we question you.
So that was interesting.
Yeah,
I understand why people will stay with agencies for the variety.
Yeah, you're not doing the same thing all the time.
You know, one week you're working in a warehouse, the next week you're driving a forklift, the week after you're driving a van, the week after you're working in a factory, the week after that you're in a clinical environment. Yeah, very, very interesting.
And the week after that, you're taking.
Yeah, if they pay good enough, that would be cool.
Yeah, you tend to find the pay wasn't good enough then. So, but,
You know, that's interesting, Ian, because in the Navy, it was usually a case of, well, this month we're getting ready to kill these people, and next month we're getting ready to kill these other people, and
well, you know, Shark, Ralph, wise.
That was real black humor.
You see, Metal Scrapper did a short video the other day on his job in the Navy.
Yeah,
He's in the Denmark Navy or Norway Navy, something like that.
the Dutch Navy,
Dutch
Netherlands. He's also from the Netherlands.
Yes.
He lives 1.5 hours away from me.
what's the name again?
Metal Scrapper.
Okay.
Metal Scrapper.
Yeah, I know the guy.
So that was good to watch him.
His English is even worse than that of Rafael's.
Oh,
No, Rafael's isn't actually that bad, but his is.
The first shots have been fired tonight.
Listen, all he did was press a button. You know, fire, boom, fire, boom.
I think one day I'm gonna take the back shot on the
Yeah,
round.
you don't have to like shit up a shovel. Don't got shit up a shovel, don't they?
The hobby is out there mowing right now. Over there, he's a crazy man. I'm just reading some of the chats there. I don't want to be missing people as they're coming in.
Mo Homesteading and I are talking about the tropical storm that it's getting ready to make landfall on the Gulf Coast here in the U.S. I'm getting rain and thunderstorms from it over here on this side of Florida, and it's going to head up towards her, and they're at risk of getting some flooding as it moves up to the north. So that's what we were writing about.
Yeah, because I was watching your video the other day, and you were saying like the thunderstorms just come in all of a sudden and then disappear again.
So that's a seasonal thing here that is not related to this tropical storm. Yeah, that's not at all uncommon here in Florida to get the afternoon thunderstorms to build up, and then that's pretty normal here. But the tropical storm here is just making things wetter, and we've had flooding and all kinds of stuff going on now.
Shark, couldn't send a really daft question. This and don't laugh at me, okay? Your tropical thunderstorms, because I see them obviously in the tropics on the television, right? Do your tropical thunderstorms have lightning?
Yes.
Right. Well, you see all the torrential rain or whatever, monsoons, but you never see lightning in it.
Yeah, I mean, if the lightning and thunder is there, I'll try to capture some of it in future videos to make it a little more exciting. And I tell you what, there's sometimes where, in fact, I have a video. It's one of my earlier videos. I think the title was something like "Scrapping in a Thunderstorm" or something of that nature. I was in my shop. I was scrapping away, and a bolt of lightning struck 4 or 5 houses down the street from me. And you can see me jump, and you can see stuff rattle because it was that close. So that one, you could definitely hear the thunder from the lightning strike.
That does make you jump. We had a very bad thunderstorm once, lots of lightning, and I got up and I was looking out the bedroom window, and it hit a house a couple of doors up, and wow, that was a loud whoop, and you jump when that happens.
Oh yeah, it gets your attention.
Shark, when you're going to video that lightning storm, if you want to make your video go viral, I'd say if you hold a lightning rod in your other hand at the same time.
You can have something like this. Just
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. If you could hold that in your other hand would make a very interesting video.
Yes, but the channel won't last much longer after that.
Well, if you put it
If
up
you
to
survive
any,
it,
if you put up on it beforehand, any new subscribers, please go to Scrappin' Irish channel. He's taken over.
You know what? As well, you will need an extra camera guy to film it.
Well, you could set up a tripod and we could watch it from there.
Yeah, this is my first attempt to make a, what would you call it, scroll. I've made a poker, right?
Okay.
And this is my first attempt to try and make a scroll handle. And I didn't
I thought you were making Damascus.
And I didn't quite get the coils right.
Tell me again, you work in the steel industry of some sort, do you?
Yes.
All right, okay. I hope you're not the one making the stuff.
No, I sit at a desk.
He sits around and pushes the mouse.
Oh, you play with one of them.
I'm a mouse pusher. I sit at a desk and order everything for the factory.
Oh yeah. You're the hard ass that everyone has to please to get into the place.
Hey, Ian, come on, bring me the 3-inch iron rods. No way, no, forget it. Not this week.
Anyway.
Get one of your wood burners going. Stick that thing in there until the twirly part is completely orange, and then forge it.
Hello, Braveheart.
I may do. I reckon if I just stick a chisel between some of the rings and spread them out a little bit.
Oh, that might work as well. Well, you could also heat it up a bit so that it will become slightly easier bendable. But you have to kind of be careful.
Or I could just give it to them as it is and said, look, it's got character. You know?
Yeah.
Handmade, you know?
Yeah.
Anybody can make a coil handle with perfect spacing and alignment of the coil, but it takes talent to get that kind of randomness.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shark. Thank you.
That's what I said. Like when I dropped my gold, anyone could make it without dropping it, so I just had to be special. I was out today and I was looking down at the floor and I was just thinking, yes. So the next one I got 2 hands on it. I had one on the bottom, one on the side, and I was taking really tiny steps. It was like I was holding a bomb, and I was afraid it was going to go off.
So I bet, buddy, when you look at the floor, then you think, okay, I'm just gonna keep sweeping the floor today.
Yeah. I was thinking there. I wonder if I could just beat the concrete out and put the concrete into Acaregia. I can just dissolve it all again.
Yeah, there you go. So Ian, you another funny story about lightning. I was stationed at the naval station in Millington, Tennessee, which is in Tornado Alley, and being a meteorologist, when the first tornado storm came over after I had gotten there, I was fascinated. And so I'm standing out in the front yard. I've got a martini in my hand, proper gin martini. And my wife comes out and she says to me, just because you're a meteorologist doesn't mean you won't get struck by lightning. And no sooner did she say that than the lightning took out a tree in our next door neighbor's house.
Wow.
Somehow or another, and I don't remember even moving, we instantly ended up inside the front door laughing our butts off at the situation, and I did not spill a single drop of my martini.
Wow, you have a good one.
You mentioned that. I was in America in 2013, and I think it was in May 2013, a big tornado went through the center and did real bad damage. And I didn't know much about tornadoes, and I'd see them on telly. I thought, people are overrating these tornadoes. We drove through the area, and it was just absolutely devastating. Like, all you could see was houses leveled completely. It's just amazing the power them tornadoes have. And
it's also amazing that houses over there are all made of wood and cardboard and not out of cement and bricks and concrete.
It's easier to rebuild them.
But the people that chase them, these tornadoes, they must be, I don't know, they must really need a drilling. They must be a drilling junkie.
You know what, Sharky? I got similar situation with those thunder and lightning. I was at one job. I was helping out some older guy to renovate his roof, and we was on it. The weather. It was like maybe 300 meters from the sea line. It was really nice place, really nice house, and the view was perfect. But we was working at the roof. There is no roof at all. Actually, we're just making the construction and insulation and so on, so on, so on. Never mind. And suddenly come out the storm from the sea. And we seen that, like, let's say 15, 30 minutes before, because, it's get dark out there from the water side. And we think, okay, we can work about, let's say half hour more before it's come to us and it's begin to rain. So we try to, cover everything. So, just keep our job move forward. Certainly, the thunders come out. And it was like at first it started up like further at the water side somewhere. As the storm come closer, certainly it's come out one thunder, and we was standing at the roof, and we was just trying to do something, and certainly it's come the loud. I don't see the light because my eyes was closed already. As far I opened my eyes, I was in the four-legged position at the floor, at the bottom. As I, normally standing, come the noise. I opened my eyes and I was at the floor. I didn't even, I didn't think to go down on the floor and cover my head or something like that. I just woke up at this position, open eyes, look around. The guy next to me was laying at the same position, and I just look at him. What happened? Okay, shall we get a break? Yeah.
Raphael, I usually wake up like that after a Saturday night thinking, what did I do last night? That's the usual.
So what you're saying is you didn't get the chance to flash, 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds.
No,
that's a mile away, no problem. Then you go, flash, 1 second, boom, boom. Oh, that's getting closer.
And as far we was there, it was like the second I just hear the noise. I don't even see the bright light, and 1 second after I opened my eyes, I was at the bottom at the floor with the cover. I opened the eyes, look at the guy. He was the same exactly. So that was not controlled movement at all.
You got knocked on your ass.
Had the same thing happen at some point.
I'm surprised your first question wasn't, are we still alive?
Yeah,
Yes.
Probably the first question I'd ask.
I see I am alive. I doesn't feel any ballast at my pants, so shall we?
And he didn't see any load of e-waste in front of him. If you've seen a rake of e-waste, you go, I've died and gone to heaven.
I was in Romania once, and the big Balaton Lake, which is 80 kilometers across in length and about 10 kilometers across, and there's a little peninsula in there that has a large lake, which is smaller than the actual lake, but it's slightly raised up in the mountains, and we were swimming there. It was a very good day. And then at some point, it was really crowded. At some point, the clouds turned all gray, and we thought, oh, there's some wind. And it was getting close to time to get some food. So, we'll better get out and get ready and then get some food. Otherwise, it'll be like 8 o'clock at night before we have any food. So we got out, and we were just walking out. It started raining and thundering and lightning, and there was when we were just over the hill, there was a very loud bang. Apparently, the lightning had struck the lake. 11 dead.
Ooh,
Oh,
Yeah, we were all out of it at that point.
you were lucky.
Oh,
yeah.
I want to say something to Mo there. She goes about the snake, and she went out to see, was it a bad snake or a good snake? How
A
do you know the
trouser
difference
snake.
between a bad snake and a good snake?
And I'm going
I
like,
didn't know there was such a thing as a good snake. If I
And I'm
see a
feeling
snake,
like,
they're all
size,
bad.
I'm like, size doesn't matter. I'd come, there's a big snake outside, or oh, there's a little snake outside. You know, it's
A
like
trouser snake.
they're the most dangerous.
What,
Yes.
the trouser snake?
you know, as far I get learned from my young age, if you see the snake, just run over, run at the separate way.
Yeah, well, we
Wait,
had St. Patrick here in Ireland who got rid of all the snakes for us before we were all born.
Yeah, we have the challenge in Florida is that we have such a mix of snakes here between the poisonous ones and the non-poisonous ones. So you generally teach kids to stay away from all of them until they're old enough that you can start teaching them how to identify them.
I don't care. I don't care if it's non-poisonous. If he's coming towards me, I'm going the opposite direction. I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to wait to see if he's poisonous or non-poisonous.
If it's
I'm
coming
gone.
towards me, I'm killing it and eating it.
I'm gone. As soon as I see him, I'm not looking to see if his eyes are whatever way you can tell by their eyes or something if they're poisonous or not. I'm not going to be that close to a snake that I can tell by his eyes.
Shirt scrapper here, and them swamp people.
Oh yeah.
And they kill a massive crocodile. And it's like, it's no problem, just kill it and get it in the boat. And then you see massive pythons fighting crocodiles or alligators. I don't know which.
Well, Mo homesteading, mine has problems sometimes. It's quite difficult to control sometimes, especially if you've been single as long as I have.
As far as Ralph said, just kill it and eat it.
We need to do a collection and get you a girlfriend. So we do.
You know, it's quite
not
hard.
a girlfriend as such, per se.
No, but you know what I mean by get a collection for him. You know what I was getting.
Collection?
Listen, when I was in Amsterdam, it was, what was it? It was 7 guilders.
Yeah, back in the Gilder Age, before 2002.
It was a long time. It was a long time before 2002, I can tell you that.
Yeah, a long time before.
For a beer, or what were you getting in for that 7 guilders?
Yeah, I was going to say, is that for
in
dinner
euros?
or
That's like
drink,
3
or
euros,
what?
by the way.
What did I get? I got embarrassed. That's what
I
I got.
on your night of your questions. I can
get that for free.
No, I got embarrassed. That's what I got.
As we talk about the euros, I got one here.
Hold on now. We'll have to make it bigger.
€1 coin.
Okay.
I think it was at the beach.
What's so
Oh, you
special
found
about
it?
that?
Oh, huh.
I was going to say, what's so special about that euro? Because I have a few of them in my pocket. If you're stuck for them, like.
Nothing really. I just found it. That's free. €3. That's make it special.
Yeah, Poosmate, there was a rhyme about how to tell coral snakes from corn snakes and things like that. So yeah.
Was it your
By
first
the way,
time,
guys, snakes can get really fast. You know, if you come too close, they approach to you. They are really fast. And even though you got some shovel in your hands, your reflex could be not good enough to kill it.
I hope the shovel you have in your hands is bigger than the shovel you had to be digging for upwards, because that wouldn't kill a snake. He'd take it off you and beat you to death with that.
Oh, I have one of those fold up ones. It's not that big, but one side is so sharp you can chop down a tree with it. So if the snake comes over, just go whoosh off with his head.
Yeah, as
onto the barbecue.
You know, as far you got enough reflex for that, Ralph, because believe me,
I used to be a ninja.
Yeah, if you ever meet the snake in the nature, approaching you, I really bet you will not kill it with it.
Yeah, generally speaking, most snakes are going to try to get away from you, but the few, if you ever see one coming at you, then run, because that's a snake with an attitude, and you don't want to mess with those folks.
And for sure, you will not have enough reflex to use that shovel.
Yeah.
Believe me, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a snake here in the southeast U.S. called a cottonmouth, and it is a mean, nasty, poisonous snake, and it will come at you. It's one of the very few snakes that will actually attack unprovoked, and it's poisonous, and it's just a mean snake. And so, yeah, you see one of those coming at you, you just leave.
Yeah, well, if I went out anywhere there, I always make sure if I'm out and I'm afraid there's a wild animal that might get me, I'll always make sure there's someone with me that runs slower than me, because all I have to do is outrun the person, not outrun the animal.
It's like The Walking Dead. Save one bullet for the other guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
You see the it was on our news last week, and it's some nature lovers, I'm going to call them. They're out somewhere, and she's taken a photograph of little video of her son. He's just wandered off, and he's like posing for a picture, and a grizzly bear like reeled up at tied legs at back.
Yeah,
that was about 20 foot, 30 foot behind him, and she's like, "Stay calm and just walk towards me." And that's what he just did. Didn't turn around or anything. He just walked towards her.
Yeah. And
the bird just settled down and ambled off.
If that was me, I'd be screaming like a girl, and I'd run, and the bear would just attack me then, because it'd go,
flailing arms.
Here's an easy dinner. Here's an easy dinner for me.
That's the thing about birds, though. You can't like climb up a tree, get out the way. You can't outrun it. You can't climb up a tree.
Yeah.
You can't fight it. Well, you can try.
No, you wouldn't win. But
I don't know if birds can swim or not.
Yeah, well, I watched a video on a buck cycling.
They can.
He was cycling like pedaling like mad, and the bear was still right behind him. I'm
not sure a bird could swim faster than me. That's what I mean.
It all depends on how scared I am as to whether or not he can swim faster than me.
Well, if a bear came after me, I'd poop my pants so hard, maybe the smell would get rid of him.
Put your hands in your pants and just throw it at him.
Yeah, then you're just going to have a mad, stinky bear chasing you.
Yeah, I definitely, that's one thing I definitely would drop dead if a bear came at me. I just wouldn't even be able to think I could do anything else. I just drop.
Play dead. I don't think that actually works.
It depends on the bear.
Apparently, one bear only eats live food. I think a brown bear, one of them, if you drop down at dead, the bear's not interested because it likes live food.
Okay.
Might come over and prod you a bit, but
would you do an experiment for us sometime and go to the zoo and test that theory out?
I'll hold the camera.
Anyway, listen, it's cowboy time, so it's time for me to jack in. Make somebody bigger.
All right, hold on. Let me do it. Let me see who will I make bigger.
Good night, Ian. Have a safe day at work tomorrow.
Wrong person to make bigger.
Okay, I'll make Shark bigger. Right, you ready, Ian? 1, 2, 3.
Oh, geez. What are you trying to scare people away?
Is he gone yet? Is he gone?
No,
He's still here.
No, I've not gone yet. I'm going to leave with decorum. And so I'll catch you about during the week. Always a pleasure to talk to you guys.
Yeah, I'll make contact with you to set up this question and answer in a couple of weeks' time.
No problem. Everyone in chat, Pooh's Mate, Mo Homesteading, Vicarious Life, Jason, Scatman 50. I'll big smile for Mo. I'll catch you all about. Bye, everyone.
Cheers, Ian. Thanks
later.
So he left without doing an Ian Matthews. What he did. What are you at there, Ralph?
Huh?
What are you at? What are you doing?
Adapters. I'm trying to get the pins out of adapters. Got
You
a
have to
couple
boil
here.
them.
No, these are These are not power plugs. These are actually adapters, which I took the cord off, and I just
the snobby crab picker soup.
Yeah, but that will probably these have transformers in them, so I'm probably thinking that this will not work. And some of them you can actually pull out, and it's easy. In this case, not so much.
Yeah, you got to smash them.
Smash them with a hammer like Ian Matthews.
Whatever.
Who's got a screen running there?
That's Rafael, I think.
Raphael?
You don't know who's
What?
watching your shit.
Have you screen
I'd like to know the specs of your PC. Well, my PC is actually quite old by now. It is a second generation i5 2600K,
Yeah,
not overclocked at the moment.
But yeah. So the what was I going to say there? There was something I was going to say when Ian was up, but he's gone now. But yeah, no, I'll make contact with everyone individually and try and arrange a Monday night if we can. As I say, unless Monday night doesn't suit someone, I'll change it to another night. But I'd prefer to go on the Monday nights because Dusty does be on her show on a Sunday, and on a Saturday Raphael is, and I don't want to try and interfere on any of their channels. So that's why I wanted to go on a Monday if I can. So if that suits you guys, I'd like to have each one of you up individually some night.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm good. The last thing I want to do is compete with the main event.
Yeah, the Raphael show.
Really? You know, guys, if you're gonna go up at the same time like I do, that's all up to you. I don't mind. I will not feel any harm for that.
No, I'd never try and do that to anyone. That's like going into a pub and there's a person playing a guitar and he's singing, and you decide to start playing the guitar down the back and singing at the same time. It's just don't do it.
Okay.
I can't sing.
I never look at it at this way, but yeah,
you wouldn't do it. Like you wouldn't go into a pub. You wouldn't go into a pub and there was music playing and decide to start playing music down the other side of the bar.
Yeah, that's for sure. But this is not the pub.
I know, but I try and treat it the same. I try and show respect to people. I wanted to clear it with Dusty last week. Moose was the only one that was able to come on. It was Sunday was the only day he was available because he works during the week, and he wouldn't be finished work until 5 his time, which would be 10 o'clock my time.
It was very gentlemanly of you to bring that up beforehand. I meant to say, that was quite gentlemanly of you.
Well, it's something I'd want. It's just something I'd show a bit of respect to other channels, and especially to Snobby and Dusty, who have really been so good on and helping me out on my channel as well. And that's why I wouldn't do it to anyone that I've already been friends with on YouTube.
Yeah, well, they're good people too. So
yeah,
I'm making a neodymium magnet sculpture.
Hold on, we'll put that up onto big screen. We can have a look at your neodymium magnet sculpture.
Yeah, so I have it stacked up, and when I scrap a hard drive, I just throw a magnet at it, and I see how it lands.
I have a sculpture like that as well. Hold on, let me see.
Tell me this, Shark. Have you ever got the neodymium magnet pinch?
Oh, many times.
I have a sculpture like that as well.
Yeah, my garage looks something like that. This is just for my desk.
That looked a little bit like Star Wars stuff.
I actually was able to get one off, but the whole layer of chrome peeled off.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently people don't want it like this. They want them completely nice and shiny.
Yeah. Do you sell them? I know people buy them on eBay. Do you sell them neodymium magnets?
Yeah.
We know the secret how to separate it without losing the chrome.
How?
I don't know yet.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to tell me the secret because I don't know either.
I asked him already for some time, but he didn't share
Once I figure it out, I'll let you know.
At few moments you can see at there's video. I'm not really sure it was Snobby or Dusty video. They got like stuck with 10 or 15 pieces, one on another, without any shielding.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And the only time I can do that is by accident. When I try to do it on purpose, I can't do it I can't do it on purpose.
I don't know. Maybe he just cooked it or something. Who knows?
Them pinches you get off them. Oh, the neodymium magnet pinches. When they pinch together, they are cool.
When you got like 2 pieces and you just drop them onto each other, they just unglue from the metal. but that's a very tricky thingy.
Well, but it's much more fun if you.
I actually took 2 pliers and I bent the steel part a bit so that the metal would pop off on one side, and just put a knife in between very carefully, and it just popped off. But a lot of big piece of the chrome part or the shiny part just stuck to the steel.
Yeah, I guess he got much easier way. It would be easy for sure, because I see the stack what they have, and yeah, it cannot be hard. It cannot be hard. It must be some easy trick.
Probably. Maybe you have to use some type of chemical to get in between and make and loosen it up. I don't know.
I don't know.
News has a question here.
Always thought you had the latest. Yeah. Well, it's been some time since I've upgraded my PC. The last thing I upgraded was the screen, but yeah, that's not really part of the system. The screen was €1,500, by the way. Latest 43-inch gaming screen, 1 millisecond, and all kinds of fancy stuff inside. But
Jason, that could be just a simple background update on the PC or Windows.
Lagging behind on live streams. Well, I have to refresh, or not really refresh, but click the little live button when the circle goes gray when I mouse over, and then I have to click so it turns red again and it catches up. But I usually have 3 or 4 live streams open at the same time, including StreamYard. So
yeah,
it's also dependent on your internet connection, not specifically your PC.
Yeah, it could be the internet, especially if it's live streams he's having the issue on.
Yes.
Yeah, true. Yeah. I used to get 3 person running all the time. So 3 window with the live streams or playlist running. I trying to keep them at 140p so it will not take my internet. But
that's actually smart if you're running someone's playlist.
But as well, when the new video come in, it's come back to automatically settings. So
I've also heard if you set someone's playback time to 1/2 speed, they actually get double the watch time.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Because if you turn a half an hour video and play it at half speed, it becomes a 1 hour video. Then they will get 1 hour of watch time.
Oh, that's interesting.
So if you run someone's playlist, set it to halftime, and someone's playlist is 100 hours, you play it, it's 200 hours, for instance. I'm not sure if it will stick, the setting will stick from one video to the next one, or if it will reset. But if someone has a really long live stream, 5 hours,
or 4.5,
yeah, exactly. Then you can run that at half speed, and that'll be double.
9 hours.
You go to work, you set the thing for 10 hours, basically, to play. You come back, and it's done, and you play something else.
But
yeah, exactly that. But nobody cares. You're not
the AI won't catch you.
Okay.
If I had video of the jar falling, I could have watched it fall in slow motion.
And that way you could see where each of the little pieces went.
Yeah, I could pick. Oh, there he went. That's where he went. That's where he went.
You can put screws into the mount on the wall and hang your sledgehammer on it.
You know what? You know what's Scrapping Irish? I'm not sure which one were worse of losing gold, you or me, because you lose still at the liquid stage.
Yeah.
I lose at the already dried.
That'll be worse. In the liquid, I don't know how much gold there was, but you knew how much gold you had. Makes it worse.
Yeah, I knew exactly how much gold I got, but I still not sure which one would be easier to.
No, if I got all the way through to the powder and lost that, I wouldn't be on here tonight. I'd be in the room crying next door.
You know, as I see those filter fall out and end up at the floor, I was look at it, and of course there is some noise coming out from my mouth and so on.
And I'm sure what was coming out from your mouth was really good language.
Yeah, but 1 minute after, I
I'd
look
say
at it.
you were using the word cobra. Is it or cobra or cobra?
Cobra Kai. Cobra
No.
Kai. Cobra Kai.
You're
Cobra
close.
Kai.
You're
Cobra,
close.
cobra or something like that a lot.
Words that are not allowed on Snobby Scrap Pickers live stream.
Yeah. Some sort of
Ending
word.
at the match.
Which
At
word
the
is not allowed then?
Any word that is offensive to, which is
What-
fair enough. As I say, everyone has their own way of doing their live streams. Sometimes when I'd be going on Snobbies, I'd be afraid because I have a habit of letting certain words slip out.
Yeah.
If I'm not careful,
Like
here,
the second he came on.
2-month ban if I don't be careful here.
You know, from now on, I always sign at my streams. There could be some swear.
Oh yeah, you know I'm coming in or Ian Matthews is coming in then.
You know, sometimes you just hit your finger and then, yeah, it just come out.
Yeah.
You need to release some energy at some way, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it's very hard sometimes not to say something when you're on a live. You have to always be careful on people's lives what you say because you don't want to get them in trouble or you don't want to offend them. Like I'm not too bothered because I'm not monetized, so it's not like I'm going to lose any YouTube money because I don't get any.
So when we were in the Navy, of course, there was a lot of foul language involved. And one of the things we would do is, as we were getting at the end of our deployments and we were headed back to the U.S. Aboard ship, we would about a month or so out, we'd put a cuss jar on the watch, and every time you said a cuss word, you would have to throw in a quarter. And then when we had enough coins in there to buy a soda for everybody on the watch team, you'd go buy everybody a soda. And, it's funny because, the first time you put the cuss jar out, well, you're buying sodas about every 30 minutes for everybody on the watch floor. And then, the night before you're pulling into port back home, you may not have bought a soda for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. It's a good way of disciplining you.
That makes sense.
So it is. We were saying about people who swear a lot, like they say, "Oh, you swear like a sailor."
Yes.
So it's true.
And I can assure you that male sailors and female sailors all cuss alike.
It doesn't matter, like whether you're male or female, you'll still use the same language on the boat.
The sailor is a sailor.
I swear a lot from Monday to Thursday. At Friday is slightly less.
You've got all your swearing done by then, have you?
Of course, I do that from the 7 to 3 p.m. So
Yeah.
later on, I just get calm. So
I know. I work where I'm dealing with people, so it's face to face, so I can't. I have to hold it. And sometimes you were just about to say it and you just go, "Oh, I can't say that. I'm it's not something I can say here." Sometimes it can be hard.
yeah, but sometimes it's really just pushing. It's coming into the mouth right away, right?
Yeah, I worked with a guy before in a job, and he hadn't got a good customer service. It wasn't one of his strong points. But if someone annoyed him, he'd go, "Oh, yes, ma'am. Yeah, no problem, ma'am." And he'd go out back, and next thing he'd start swearing and he'd start belching stuff, but you could still hear him. And then he'd come back out and he'd go, "No, what were we on about again?" And he was after cursing her out back, and he thought she couldn't hear him, and she could hear everything he just said.
Yeah, sometimes I just meet the people in their own flats, and I need to work with them. And sometimes, believe me or not, I guess well what's that mean. For sure, we got some difficult customers where they come looking after something, and they really have no idea what they are looking for.
They're telling you how to do it.
and if you just tell them what they are looking for, that will be best for them. And they say, no, it's not that. It's supposed to be like this and that, and so on and so on. Oh, yeah.
You ever hum the song in the Navy?
Working with the people, it's quite difficult, especially when you're doing that day by day, and every time you got the new peoples. That's for
Mo Homesteading was saying she drops the F-bomb on the live streams. Could be something to do with the tequila.
Yes, that will do it.
Yeah, I always blame the drink when stuff goes wrong.
You know, there was
I don't effing drink.
Yeah, I was gonna say Rav can't blame it because he doesn't drink.
you know, there was a long time ago. I think I did say that story many times already. I got a lady who complained about the sink battery or armature. So I went there, look at it. Okay, it was broken, so I replaced the new one. And right after I finished, I get comment, listen up, this water running too loud. I look at her and what?
That's like the I don't know, is it a true story or is it just one of these tales that you see? It's urban tales, but there was meant to be this person who bought a computer, and they ring up, would say, I don't know, the Dell or whoever, they rang up, and he rings up and he goes, I bought this computer in the store the other day, and it was working perfectly, but now the cursor has disappeared off the screen. So the IT man says to him, okay, I want to do a few steps here for me. He said, press Alt, clear and delete, and went through all these steps with him. And he was saying, and your man goes, does that bring anything up? And he goes, no, that still hasn't brought anything up. And he goes, okay. He said, I want you to check something. He said, can you go behind the computer and check to make sure the leads from the mouse is connected to the back of the computer? Isn't moving because the mouse might be disconnected. And your man goes, oh, it's very dark behind there, I can't see. And your man goes, well, just turn the lights on. And he goes, oh, I can't. He said, there's a power cut. And the IT man goes, okay, I see your problem. He said, what you need to do now is pack that computer back up, put it back in the box, and bring it back to the store. And your man goes, oh, why? Is it a serious problem? He goes, it's a very serious problem. He goes, you're too effing stupid to own a computer, and you don't. He said, bring it back to them.
You know, it really sounds like fairy tale, but I believe
I would not be surprised. There's a lot of stupid people out there.
I did customer service for about a year, slightly over a year, and the questions I got sometimes, I mean, or the questions I heard that other people got.
Yeah.
There was one guy who had, I told this before, one guy who bought one of those, kind of like this thing here. The all-in-one printer, scanner, copier, fax, connectable to, not to Wi-Fi, this one, but connectable to cable. And he said, is it wise for me to make copies of my important documents before I fax them away? And I said to him, well, yeah, it's always wise to make copies of stuff, but you should have a digital copy on your computer, a copy on on paper. And he said, no, but if I fax them away, I said, well, the machine doesn't physically transport the paper somewhere else. It makes a copy and sends that. And then I got the question, what does that mean physically? I was like, oh.
I heard the same story. A person I work with, he was in the military, or not in the military, would have been in the police force, and he was sent out to Bosnia at the time of the war for the peacekeeping. So they were sent out as peacekeepers after the war, and there was army bucks from Pakistan were sent as part of the UN peacekeepers as well. And they were, the man got a sheet of paper and he handed it to him and he said, will you fax that over to such and such a person? And he goes, oh yeah, I'll do that. So he went over and he put the sheet of paper in and it went through the fax machine and came out. He put it through again and it came out. The man was watching him and he goes, oh, what are you at? He goes, it's going nowhere. He said, it keeps coming back to me. He thought the paper was the paper.
Yeah.
And we're letting this man carry guns. If this man was allowed to carry guns.
Yeah. You don't need to be very intelligent to be in the military.
Hey.
In certain segments, like infantry.
You know what?
They want stupid people that follow orders, basically.
Yeah, your man was expecting that fax paper to disappear. He thought the fax machine was going to send the whole paper out somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Careful there, Rafael. Oh wait, maybe this will be a better. I think I have another one. Hold on. I was going to show this one, but that's kind of long ago.
Hold on, I'll bring it up big screen.
Yeah, this is one of those really old floppies, but it actually, the story was actually about one of these. So same deal. The secretary was asked, because the floppy had important stuff on it, can you please make a copy of this and then deliver it to that person and then keep the original? Okay, sure. So the person that got the package delivered asked, well, he got an envelope. He asked, is this a joke? What she did was she put it on the copier and made a copy on a piece of paper, folded it up, sent it. Yeah.
And that's where the employee how we call that, the guy who employed the people fail.
The HR, yeah. Yeah, the HR weren't doing their job.
Department, yeah, exactly.
I tell you, I have a real issue with HR departments in general. They have made it well, first of all, they've created, this convoluted industry that only they seem to understand and believe is important now, and convinced executives and leaders in business that nothing can be done unless the HR people are involved.
Yeah.
And they've created these automated processes for trying to decide whether or not you're going to hire someone that just look at keywords off of resumes and have nothing to do with the actual human being.
Yeah.
And it just floors me that HR people are still allowed to get away with this kind of stuff. I was trying to hire a business development person for when I worked at this one military defense company. And, I needed somebody that had business development, but also technical kind of experience. And so they said, okay, we've got a candidate for you to interview. Great. The guy shows up and we asked him about his, I'm looking at his background and his resume and I'm like, something's just not right here. It turns out he was a Harley Davidson sales guy. And he was very knowledgeable about how to take apart and rebuild Harley Davidsons and how to sell them. But he didn't have the first clue about anti-submarine warfare and electric components and the kind of stuff that we were involved in, and I was just, I was just looking at the HR manager, shaking my head going, what the hell are you people doing?
Yeah, but see, the HR man didn't know what that job probably involved himself. He didn't know enough about the job to hire anyone. That's the problem. These people are hiring people for jobs they know nothing about themselves. So they look at a resume and they go, oh, that sounds good, that sounds good, that sounds good. And then you can tell within 10 minutes if you're talking to someone if they know something or don't know something, but they've already probably offered the job to them off their resume.
Yeah, I mean, from that point on, I told them, okay, I'm doing a resume screen on everybody before we bring them in for an interview. We were wasting too much time.
Yeah.
Of course, that didn't go over well either. But the GM agreed with me that we had to do that because the HR department was just wasting too much time.
My brother had a somewhat funny thing happen when we were both in school some years ago. He kind of had quite an extensive knowledge of the Microsoft Office stuff, specifically Excel. The one with all the little squares, and you can put formulas in and make stuff happen by only changing one thing. But yeah, that aside, so he was quite okay at stuff using Excel. I would go to him to ask questions about that stuff because I rarely use it. So when it was time to be sent out for a job through the school system, it's kind of like an internship. The teacher said, "Yeah, he's pretty good at Excel." So, and something with a lot of administration work that uses Excel would be good for him. So the person that was going to the temp agency said, "We have an Excel expert here." And the temp agency went to a company, said, "We have a top of the line Excel specialist for you." And then everybody was like, "Awesome, that's what we need." And they put him, he went to this building, it was really big and fancy. And they said, "Well, here it is. You'll probably know what to do." And he was like, "So what do I do?" And then someone said, "Well, you have to work with this and that. And that. What's this? What's that?" And then he asked, and then he got the blame for it, for lying about his stuff. He had no idea.
He was chancing it.
Yeah.
But no, there's supposed to be person who's supposed to check that abilities, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Who was it before? Was it Alan Sugar or was it Richard Branson that said, if you get offered a job that you don't know anything about, take it and learn it as you learn it then. That's what he said. He said, never tell them you don't know. He said, if they offer you the job, take it. And he said, they'll have to teach you it. I think it was Richard Branson said that even if you're not qualified for the job, if you get offered it, take it.
I'm not sure if that will work these days, but yeah.
Yeah, you know. But I don't think Richard Branson is in the good books anyhow at the moment with his Virgin Airlines.
Well, I always think it's interesting how folks like Branson and they'll throw out these little quips, and then all of a sudden people grab onto them as if they're some sort of gospel, right? And I have to believe sometimes they say, what's the most ludicrous thing that I can say that somebody's actually going to believe?
Yeah, well, Elon Musk is very good at that. he just come out with some good stuff.
Yeah.
But he's a very wealthy man after his little shear deal he done 2 weeks.
You gotta tip your hat to these folks. They've made some serious money and they've done some good stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
They take the risks and they get the rewards, obviously.
Yeah. Hey there, Pop Scrap.
He said, how do you make a small fortune? He says, well, first you start with a big fortune.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you have your first million, it's very easy to make a second and third and fourth and fifth.
Yeah, that was I actually heard somebody say that about the airline industry. Somebody said, how can you make how do you make $1 billion in the airline industry? And the comment was, well, you start out with 10 billion.
Yeah. Well, that's how you make it, Jeff. If you've got the money to start it, you'll make more money. So you will. But the airline industry has really taken a big hit. How are flights in America? Are you still flying from state to state, or what's it like?
Some people are, yeah, and they're going through a bunch of reallocations of it's a big deal in the air industry right now. What cities are still going to get service, and how they're going to bring airline service back up again, and so it's going to take a while for that to get all figured out again. Every now and then you'll see a news story pops up because an airplane was jam-packed full of people and half of them weren't wearing masks or something like that. And so
I see here Ryanair, which would be the biggest low-budget airline in Europe. They're actually Irish, but they refused a few people onto their flights for not having masks the other day, and it was big write-up in the papers about it. But if you know the rule before you get on the plane is you're going to have a mask, then you just have your mask. I don't understand these people who go and don't. If you're booking a flight and you're told these are the rules to get on the flight, then why would you turn up without a mask?
Because some people just like breaking the rules.
Yeah, well, like
Breaking the law, breaking the law.
you know, if you're told beforehand this is the rules to it, you go right. I'll just do that. But some people, as you say, some people just want to be awkward, but they weren't let on the flight. And then, of course, it was the airline's fault. It wasn't their fault because it was the airline for not letting them on, even though it was them that wasn't available.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's just some people that they want to make an issue out of things, and so they do that kind of stuff. You know, it's I don't get it either.
Someone's
just doesn't
feelings
make
were
any-
hurt. Oh,
Yeah. Oh, this that's the worst ever. Oh, my feelings were hurt. You know, like that. Jesus,
nobody gives an F about your damn feelings.
if they were growing up in the 70s and 80s and the 90s, they'd know about it.
Yeah.
You know, there was none of that. But you can't look sideways at people anymore. They get offended. People are too sensitive.
And the funny thing is, offense is always taken, but rarely given.
Yeah.
If you are offended by something, ask yourself, why am I offended by this? The problem is usually with you.
Yeah, at most cases that's true. That's
And
all
so,
correct.
and so we see another example why Ralph doesn't have a girlfriend.
It's because I hate women. And that doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that I love men. I hate men even more. Especially every man that is not me.
Oh.
You know, guys, listen up. I'm gonna head out. I still got like about a little bit over half hour to the midnight, so I'm gonna jump in and check out some other friends for a while.
No problem.
So I'm gonna say, see you all the chat, all panel. Great to see you guys.
Yeah, well, I'll be popping off anyway in about 9 minutes time. I'm just going to do until past, so I'm going to pop off in anyhow. And so I'll catch you again, Raphael, and we'll arrange to do your 30-minute Q&A some weekend or some week.
Sure, why not? I
We'll see you, Raphael.
Take care, guys. Have a great
Later, Raphael.
Saturday, and see you all around, I guess. Take care, guys.
Good luck. I'll put the link up if anyone wants to come up for the last 9 minutes, if there's anyone still there that wants to join us for the last 9 minutes.
There's still a couple of people watching, yeah.
You know,
Why not?
If anyone wants to come up and just spend 9 minutes talking any sort of rubbish they want, feel free. But yeah, so what time will you go to bed tonight, Ralph? Or are you going to stay up all night on streams again?
No. I have work tomorrow.
So since when did that ever stop?
Sued the company and won because he thought cruise control meant that it was a self-driving vehicle. I've seen that happen as well, but mostly with women. They pop on the cruise control and then they hop over on the passenger seat and go fiddle in their purse.
Ralph, you are not endearing yourself to any of the women that are in the chat at this moment in time.
It's just stuff that I've seen.
I think you are, how would you say?
I'm not saying all women. I'm saying many women. Again, if you're feeling offended, ask yourself, why am I being offended?
I think you're associating everyone in one ball instead of saying some, not all.
No, I did. I said many, not all.
As I say, I can't speak. I've seen plenty of men crash cars, and I was.
Oh yeah, that too.
I was in fact a man that crashed a car once.
There's more men that crash cars than women because there's more men driving.
I don't know about that either.
Maybe, well, women tend to be more careful when driving, I guess, and men take more risks.
Yeah, that's it. It's kind of when I crashed, it was my own fault.
Well, you know, the one that always cracks me up is the person that consistently exceeds the speed limit and then says, but I'm a safe driver.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're going over the speed limit, you're not a safe driver. You're breaking the law. And I know people who go, I drive better when I drink on me. You know?
That is weird.
We have one man in the basement who's coming up for the last few minutes. Let's say hello to Scotty.
Hello.
Hi, Scotty.
Scotty, I don't want you talking too much and taking over the show.
What's that?
I don't want you talking too much and taking over the show.
No, well, Crypto's not here, so they can't talk about lizards all the time.
Yeah, what are you saying?
I was watching, of course, because I saw your chat in here as well earlier.
Yeah, so
yeah.
Scotty wouldn't be one of these people that run away from a snake like I would. He'd actually pick it up.
I've only ever dealt with a snake once, and that was a baby corn snake. It was a nippy bugger as well. Trying to get it to actually take its first feed, and it's a nightmare.
So what lizards have you there in your room with you now?
I have 2 leopard geckos in my room, and I've got 6 bearded dragons in my front room.
And do you let them out for a walk around, or do you keep them in their?
They do come out. Yeah, they do come out.
And they're not going all over the place and be gone.
No. We've got one bearded dragon, which is a bit of a handful because it's only about a year or so old. So he's not actually been trained as such, and he just runs around and he's a bit hyper.
And tell me this: how can you train them? When you say they're trained, like, can you train them to stay in the one spot, or what is it?
Teach them fetch.
It's kind of, it's kind of like, it's kind of like training them as such. I say training; it's not really. It's just kind of getting them used to being handled.
Okay.
So that they're not all skitty and scared and all that, because once you get them used to being handled and they know that it's safe to be on your shoulder or whatever, because they like to be up high, then it's easier to take them out, and you can actually take them outside so they can get some natural sunlight when it's sunny.
Well, yeah. Well,
I need to check on Chuck.
Check on what?
On Chuck, my Venus flytrap has been outside for a few days.
Who's Chuck?
I named my Venus flytrap Chuck because of
as you do, you know.
I was wondering who Chuck was. I said got a pet.
So Scotty, do you have like tiny little collars or harnesses or something?
We do have a harness for the bearded dragons.
Yeah.
But we don't really tend to use it, except for some of the bearded dragons. It's not a brilliant harness, to be fair, but it's mostly one of our bigger ones, which is called Copper. He's got kind of an orange tinge to him. He kind of likes to wander a little, so he kind of needs
someone say
harness.
Copper.
Yeah. Okay.
I said the wrong word.
When
I have to train some of the dead traps here, I see.
When he was saying that he could train his lizards and stuff like that, I was thinking, could they be trained to hold a screwdriver? I wonder. I was going to employ a regular lizard.
Get the paper.
No, but they're very good at destroying things. Food, preferably.
Hey, that's me too.
Scotty, you could train him to fetch you a mealworm for a snack every now and then.
Ha ha ha. Well, because I ate that one mealworm. I'm never going to live it down.
That's never going to be let down, you know. So they can get that worm.
It's a good thing I didn't eat the cricket on the live stream, because I won't be able to live that one down either.
No, Scotty, I'm adding you to my list of people that I'm going to interview at some stage, because I'm intrigued by these lizards now. So yeah,
okie dokes.
And we're going to have you shown us these lizards some night on the show. So
sounds fun. Yeah,
I'm going to add you to the list. You've been added to the list, so I'll be making contact with you for a half an hour of questions and answers.
Sounds fun.
Well, I want to see these lizards in action. So I do. I want to see this Venus flytrap that Ralph has there.
You want to see it in action?
I want to see it up there close to the screen.
Well, right now it's in somewhat need of trimming because there's a couple of dead traps, but most of them are okay and quite young formed. The ones that have the white hairs on them, those are pretty new.
What was the film that was out? Was it the 80s or the 70s?
Little Shop of Horrors.
Little Shop of Horrors.
Every time
Let me see more, but that was a Venus flytrap actually from Venus, I think.
Yeah, that was a giant Venus flytrap. Imagine.
I've always been intrigued by them Venus flytraps since that film.
Well, and then there was a cartoon Venus flytrap on Creepshow or Creepshow 2, something like that, where the little boy bought the Venus flytrap, and it was the interlude between the different vignettes in the movie.
Yeah, I think I was a bit of a parody of Little Shop of Horrors.
I actually have a folder with
rightly
some filmed segments. I called it The Life of Chuck because I wanted to make a playlist of him and stuff about it, but I haven't done so actually.
And do you know, if I had one of them fly traps now, I'd be going around catching flies and dropping them in it just to see it working.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I used to do that when I had one.
But you have to be very careful not to overfeed them because oh wait, hold on. There's a lot of sound on this video here. There, pause. Yeah, they have like a maximum number of times they can open and close, and for most traps it's like 3, maybe 4 times, and then after that they kind of die. And if one sprout of plant has like 5 traps or so, and you feed all 5 of them, and they all close together, and they have to use the energy to digest or really to work on what they caught, the thing might actually die because all traps have to work at the same time.
Okay. And tell me, is there much looking after to them, or do you just leave them there? And
give them rainwater, preferably to tap water, kind of depending on what level of hardness your tap water has and the pH and stuff like that. But mostly rainwater would be best. So if you have like a big rain barrel, just get a scoop, give him some water every 2 days ish. Direct sunlight is good, but not too much of it. Yeah, don't go like, oh, look at this, and then make the trap close. You know,
that's what I don't like. That's what I probably do. You see, so it's no point in getting one of them. I'd be just with a pencil and just touching it, seeing could I catch the pencil before I pulled it away.
And you don't actually have to give them flies or bugs or whatever, because they can survive on just water.
Oh, but that's no fun.
So, Poosmate put up the name of a movie that it cracks me up because I've actually seen that, The Night of the Triffids, and it's actually it's kind of a fun movie if you're looking for a nice campy little sci-fi movie to watch. That's a fun movie to watch.
Oh, I never came across that. Have you watched it, Ralph?
No, I've actually not seen it.
Okay. We're on the move.
This is a video of when I just had it. It looks slightly more healthy because he's been outside and I've been kind of neglecting him.
Yeah, it looks like a lot more traps on him than what you have there now.
Yeah, exactly. And it's normal for traps to die at some point and to just peel off. But look at this. Here I'm feeding one of the traps. There you go. Whoop.
Oh, cool. I'm definitely getting one of them. That's my next purchase.
Up.
And how long
again?
Ralph.
What?
How long will it take for that to be digested in them?
About a week.
Okay.
And then the trap will open again, and it will basically spit out a dried up little sliver. Well, it's not really spitting out; it just opens up, and usually, like the wind, will blow the thing, and it goes. Weep, 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 weep.
See what Scrapman 50 put there, Ralph, for you?
Do you set the plant outside next to dog crap? It would help. That is actually a good idea. That is actually a good idea.
That's good.
Well, fun fact is that if you have like flies in your house or fruit flies, and you have a Venus fly trap, you will actually be getting more flies because it lets off certain pheromones that attract the flies. The inside of the traps now are not that bright, but when they are open and adult, the inside is all red, and they're supposed to simulate the color of meat, and that's what attracts flies.
And will they regrow their traps if the trap dries? Will they regrow?
Yeah. There's all kinds of new traps forming here. Let's see. Maybe I can get this in the shot. Hold on. Let me see if I can. It's a good thing I have. There we go.
Welcome to Ralph Morick's Wild Kingdom.
Yeah. See, here's a new forming trap. There is one. Here is one. There's one down there that's forming, and you basically you have the same amount of dead traps after a while as the amount of live ones, and the amount of newly forming ones. Sometimes they just form really small, and they're at the bottom.
That's for the ants.
I like Jason Hughes there. They do a big version to put the wife in.
Put the missus in one.
Yeah.
Well, they can get quite big at some point, and the traps will not get that much bigger, but they might get up to like an inch. Kind of like.
Okay. Now I put you back on.
Kind of like an inch, maybe inch and a half maximum. And they will be able to trap adult wasps or hornets, but those are very vicious insects usually. So when they get trapped, they might gnaw their way out on the other side, and then basically you just have a snipped off trap.
Like if you're doing a video, a live stream of just your camera on that all day, and I was off work, I'd probably sit there all day waiting for a fly to land on it. That would be a good way of getting hours up. I think
you could probably get a few views on that.
Yep.
And when I'm at work, I'll have the camera on, and people can just watch it.
Yeah, that'll be a thing, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you take good care of them, they can actually live up to be 20 years old.
Okay.
So
Wow.
I just call it a green pet. That's why I gave it a name.
Yeah, I don't know what I'd have to call my
So
one.
basically, that lives as long as my leopard geckos could.
They've had about 20 years, is it?
About that, yeah.
And what about the bearded dragons?
I think that's about 10.
Okay.
Not 100% sure.
And do you breed them or do you buy them?
The bearded dragons I have bred.
Okay.
And I've got one of the babies left, which is actually my bearded dragon. The other 5 are my mum's.
Okay. No, I'm definitely going to have you up on show. Definitely want to talk about them.
R5 Adventures also has bearded dragons.
Dropping flies on it off the camera. You wouldn't have... Yeah, I know, but I'd probably put the camera in a room and I'd put some rotten meat so the flies would be attracted, so I'll be catching them all day.
Well, like you said, just put the plant in the shot and have like a couple of dishes full of dog poo, around outside of the shot.
Yeah, I better make sure I set this up outside. Set it up inside my.
Hey, there's Crypto.
Yeah.
Hello, Crypto.
Crypto.
Hey, Crypto.
It's good to see you, Crypto. You're coming in just as we're about to finish up soon because we have exhausted, I think, every conversation possible.
Yeah, and we're talking about dog poo attracting flies. So
yeah, we're down to that level.
That's where the extent of
talking about dog poo and flies. You're really gone down. All thanks to Ralph and his Chuck.
He has looked better in the past. True. I really need to get rid of the older traps faster because they keep taking the energy from.
And would you not buy him another one to keep him company while you're out at work?
Well, it's actually 3. There's actually 3 in here.
Oh.
3 sprouts.
And how long did it take? Did you buy them in the shop grown, or did you buy them when they were little ones and grew them?
No, I bought him when you saw the video. That was when I had him a week, I think, maybe.
Okay.
And I bought him at IKEA for €6. So.
Oh.
Wait a minute. So you had to put it together after you bought it?
No, it was in the plant section. That was actually pretty simple.
Did you get the big bronze and all that?
Take the big plastic off.
Yeah. And there was an extra part.
When you buy anything from IKEA, you go, this is going to be easy to put together. You just throw away the instructions. And then within 10 minutes, you run around. Where's the instructions?
No, you're going, where's me duct tape gone?
Oh, this trap actually still has something in it.
Oh.
Ah.
It
It's
was
still
like that fly.
kind of alive, yeah.
Yeah. And will they eat spiders and everything? Anything that touches them, they'll eat it.
Yeah, if you stick in like something and you tickle, there's tiny little hairs in the middle. If you tickle the hairs, then it goes.
Oh, cool. I think I'm going to buy one of them.
It's not like when a fly flies over that one of them will sprout out and,
Yeah,
that doesn't happen. Would be cool if it did, but no.
Alien.
Alien, yeah, something alien. But ever since I seen that Little Shop of Horrors, I always wanted to have one of them fly traps.
When I was a kid and that movie came out, it scared the crap out of me. So I've never seen it.
Alien?
So Crypto is waiting to get one as well. She wants one.
The Little Shop of Horrors. The Alien movies I've seen later on.
This is funny. I always thought that Venus flytraps were a tropical jungle kind of plant, but they're actually from the mid-latitude forests.
I always thought they'd be down
here in the U.S. I was amazed.
Yeah, you can get them just about at most plant centers, and if they don't have them, they can probably order them,
or just go walking out in the woods and find them.
Maybe even that, if you're lucky.
No, I don't think they grow wild in Ireland somehow.
I don't think so. No.
We only grow potatoes.
Feed me, Seymour.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's actually quite a good impression.
That was quite good, yes. Right, guys, I'm going to call it. It's gone 22:11 here. So that's 22:06. Is it in Florida?
17.
Yeah. 22:06.
It's 22:12 over here.
Yeah, so I'm going to call it that, guys, and I appreciate you all being on. And next week, as I said, on Monday, I'm hoping to have that guy from Florida that does the tantalum capacitors to talk for half an hour, and then we'll just go into the normal show afterwards then. So, and then Shark Scrapper, we'll find out where in Florida he is, and you have to go and do a proper spying mission. And we'll be setting up our own little refinery over here.
Well, what could be fun is after you interview him, maybe if he's amenable, I could go down and I could do a video with him.
Yeah,
we could then collab with you on or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be something now that I could ask him that it would be okay for someone to go and look at the facility and do a filming of how the process is done.
Yeah.
It'd be something if you're not too far away from him. Like I don't know where he even is.
Yeah, I don't know either. So
I'll tell you where they are. Give me 1 second now. I'll tell you exactly. You'll be able to tell me how far that is from you. They are in contact address. Place called Doral, Florida.
Cape Doral.
Yeah, Doral, Florida. Where is that far from you?
Wait a minute. Cape Coral or Cape Doral?
No, Doral. It's spelled Doral. And it's Florida 33172. Wherever that is.
All right, wait a minute. Cape Doral.
I'm just Googling that here myself as well to see where that is in Florida.
Well,
it's down towards Miami.
Yes, that's probably about 6 hours, but for some reason my system isn't pulling it up. That's weird.
Yeah, well, I just put in Doral and I put in FL 33172 and it brought it up.
Yeah, so I have a Doral, Florida. I don't have a Cape Doral, Florida.
No, it's not Cape. It's Doral. Just Doral.
Oh! I gotcha. Okay, yeah, Doral. That's almost 5 hours from me.
Oh, a bit too far.
Well,
it could be a day trip
for you.
I know. Yeah, for anything for scrapping Irish. But yeah, I'd be interested. I'd love to see how they actually process them. I'd say there's some machinery involved in it altogether because it wouldn't be something you can do at home refine anyhow because I've done loads of research. But it might be something interesting for the likes of people in America rather than sending their boards to board sort with all these tantalums on them. If they remove the tantalums first, it could be another source of income.
Well, and I've got loads of tantalums that I've been pulling.
Yeah.
in anticipation of doing something with them someday. So
Yeah,
this could be an interesting thing for me to do with them.
Yeah, because a lot of people send their boards straight to board sort and they don't take anything off them because
That's
they know where to sell this stuff to. But if you had a source to sell your tantalums to, you could remove the tantalums first and then sell your board to board sort and get the price per pound off these crowd, you know? So it could be another source of income.
Yeah, and it would be interesting how much you could get away with depopulating of the tantalums and still get maximum value from board sort.
Yeah. Well, that's why I want to get board sort on as well, because I want to talk to them about, because I was interested in that buyback program that you were talking about that they do on the Pentiums and the i7s and the
the i3s, i5s, and i7s.
Yeah, it's that was an interesting thing. The buyback program to do on that, you know,
and they offer some good money if the CPU tests and works properly. You know, they offer some good money for some of those CPUs.
Yeah, so I've dropped them an email anyhow, so hopefully they'll get back to me and hopefully they might let a representative come on and we can have a chat with them as well. And I'll try and get iScrap on as well, the Crowd iScrap app, to have a chat with them. And then we'll have Scotty on with his geckos or whatever he has.
Yeah.
Lizard man.
I want to see them eating something as well. I want to see them being fed, Scotty. I like to see that. So have them well hungry so they'll nearly eat their hand off.
Yeah. I've got at least several lizards that I eat on demand, so it's fine.
That's good. That's good. I want to see that. Just like Raphael's Venus trap eating the fly. I want to see that.
Yeah, and Scotty, no eating the crickets with them, okay?
Yeah.
I don't feed them crickets anyway.
Oh, just worms.
There's mealworms. Mealworms, waxworms, locusts.
Locusts? And where do you get your locusts from?
The pet shop.
Okay.
They sell
I
all
was
the
going to say from the apocalypse that's apparently going on.
You have a Ouija board and you contact the dark side to send you them.
Oh yes.
I want to play.
No, I wouldn't feed my lizards the locusts of the apocalypse which is going on. They'll probably poison them.
I'll have to ask that Poosman about it when I'm onto them. Is it worth sending them from Ireland or UK? I'd say it wouldn't be by the time you pay for the postage over with them, because he sent me, let me have a look at my email. He sent me some prices just to give you a rough idea, but I don't want to give too much information away until he comes on board. But current prices for tantalums, we'd say for your let me see. There's some of them there, like red top TA capacitors. They're paying $30 a pound, which is very good money. They're paying for wet tantalum capacitors $35 a pound. So the money's not bad per pound in weight for some of the stuff they're buying.
Yeah,
so,
but they're teeny
But
tiny.
by the time you get a pound.
Yeah, you need a lot of them to.
Yeah, but I think the red ones are the fairly bigger ones, aren't they? The red capacitors, like they're not your black and yellow ones. That's why I'm saying there's so many different capacitors that I didn't even know existed, or tantalums that they buy.
You got the old style platforms as well.
Yeah, like the SMDs, I think, are just the normal ones, SMD ones, and they're paying $14 a pound for them. But then they have these foil ones, and they have bullets, and they have wet tantalums, red capacitors. They've so many different ones that they buy. I didn't even know they existed. So he's going to bring samples of them on screen, and he's going to show us each one differently, what they buy and stuff like that. So it should be interesting, you know?
Yeah, that's going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, so hopefully everything going right. As he said himself, it all depends on work, but he's penciled in for next Monday. But he'll let me know before then if there's any issue. So we can see. Hopefully not, and we can get him on. And it'd be interesting because a lot of people don't know what to do with the tantalums that they get. As you were saying, Shark, you were collecting them up and waiting to see what you could do with them.
Yep.
You know, so it may be an option to find someone to buy them, and you could use that money to put into something else instead. You know?
Yes, we can go lose more money on buy more computers.
We're all looking forward to seeing how much money you made on these.
You actually bought them?
Oh, he bid it on an auction for them, or
okay, yeah.
So he didn't tell us how much he paid for them. So he was asking in the videos for people to put in how much they would have paid for them, and then he's going to tell us how much he paid and how much he made. And he's got, by judging by his smile, he is quite happy with his outcome.
Well, we'll see. The video will be up Monday, I promise.
Yeah, you might be just doing the poker face on us. We don't know which way you're swinging now. So we don't. I like the videos where you have to try and guess what it is, but I haven't guessed yet. I'm still trying to work it out in my own head. But I'll give it a go before you reveal.
Okay.
I was hoping I'd get more information off you tonight so I could put it up and people go, oh, see how close he was.
Well, and it was interesting too because it was an auction. And
Yeah.
so what some people have done was they put up a price that they would have paid as if they were just buying it, making an offer on it, but it was an auction. So, you would put up your price and then and it was an online auction.
Yeah,
right?
it's just like eBay. You put up a price, someone else might come higher. You decide then if you're going to go back or you're going to let it go at that price,
Yeah, so it was, and I talk a bit about that in this final episode that'll come up today.
Yeah, well, see, a lot of people go to board sort and they go, well, board sort is paying $10 a pound for this, so they try and work their price off that. That's what a lot of people will do.
Well, I'm hoping that after people see this video, they'll have a better understanding and they'll be a little better informed. Of course, you still have to look at what your local yard is going to pay for certain things.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that it'll be more informative for folks.
Yeah, because when you break it down, you're going to see what your local yard will give you for the steel that's left, and then your boards to board sort or your chips to board sort, whatever you're selling to board sort, and it's kind of then is it worth? It gives you a good idea then from then on in the auctions what you're bidding on,
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, so that's what I like. I was going to cut the show, but I can't cut it while Ralph is not there because
I'm here. I was just looking around in the corners of the ceiling if I could find like a spider or a fly or anything, because sometimes I get something and do a live feeding, but
oh damn it! Well, anyway, I'm definitely calling the show at this time now. What time is it? It's 10 to 11 here. So guys, thanks for being on, and check out my video on Thursday. I think it's my last video on the laptops. It's the results from the 45 laptops I took apart. And then next Monday, hopefully we'll have that man on. So, Shark, when is your video out?
It'll post Monday morning. I'll tell you what, I'll have it come up at 5 o'clock on Monday morning. That way, those of you in the UK can get a look at it. At a reasonable hour. How's that sound?
That's good. And Scotty, have you anything you want to say before we go?
No.
Oh, that's not like you to be quiet.
You see, that's going to be your problem when you interview Scotty. You'll never get a question in edgewise. He's just going to talk your ear off.
And Ralph, have you anything to say?
New video somewhere next weekend.
Okay.
Other than that, no plans yet. I will be working on the thing for crypto, and the what was the other thing I was going to make? Dang it! Oh, the thing for Ian Matthews, probably.
Okay.
Probably.
And
I'll probably do that on the same day. Well,
and you'll catch some spiders and put that on live cam so I can see them being fed to that.
Yeah. It was the owl for Dusty that I was going to make, and the thing for crypto. Because both aluminium.
That's it. So I'm going to call it that, guys. So thanks for being on again. Another great show. I enjoyed it. And I just want to say thanks to Moose if he's still listening, or if someone tells him that we appreciated him being on tonight. It was great.
I'm sure he's a busy man. So.
And Shark just done a E. Matthews and disappeared.
Well, nobody was highlighted. So
yeah, he done a really Matthews. I'm going, and that's it. So, guys, take it easy, and everyone in the chat, I appreciate you coming in, and don't forget to hit the like before you go out. Okay, good luck.
Bye-bye.
Bye.